podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
You don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me, so talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another morning edition of the Boxing Voice Radio right here on patreon.com/the Boxing Voice. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I hope you guys are having a good day. Those of you that have to work, I hope you made it there safely. We're here to talk Jermall Charlo, who's been in the news most recently. He said he was moving up to 168 pounds, but it looks like Chris Eubank's come out, and he's like, hold up. Let me get some before you go anywhere, because Eubank wants a shot at Charlo, and he wants it next at middleweight, 160-pound division. He goes as far as to say that, Jermall Charlo, he's not a likable guy, and that he hasn't fought anyone. So we're going to break that down, because is that true? Has Jermall Charlo not faced anyone? Or is Chris Eubank Jr. going a bit too far? But the number to call in if you want to participate, 1-425-569-5241. Remember to press 1 if you want to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. And don't forget, if you're part of the Patreon family, you can hit us up on Skype by adding Nestor Gibbs and just get part of the conversation. So you already know. Let's get on out to it. If you're just joining the live stream, hit that thumbs up button, as it's going to help with the visibility of the show 7 to 10 days later.
It's me, Mario.
Yo, what is up? Man, that Marathon Untitled session killed me last night. Listen, if you don't know, we're on for Untitled on Mondays. Tonight is Film Study Tuesdays, where we look back at old fights. So if you're not a member of Patreon and you're listening to this 7 to 10 days later, go to patreon.com/the Boxing Voice to sign up. But yeah, man, we went like 4 hours strong. We were trying to raise as much money as we could for PBS. And I hope we did our job. But what up, Doomy?
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody like me. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their claw. There's no one that can match.
Chip! Good morning, good morning. Get your cup of coffee ready. If you're across the pond, get your cup of tea ready. We going in as usual. TBV, always ready for the 12-round fight. Ready to talk this boxing. I mean, we could get right into it. Eubank Jr. Thinks he could take out my man Jermall Charlo, the Texas boy. And my personal opinion about Eubank Jr. started declining when I started seeing him kind of be too wild out there. He's a fun fight, but I see him getting knocked out by Jermall Charlo, bro. This guy, Eubank Jr., he's training with Roy Jones and shit, and he's trying to switch shit up. And I don't know, man. I don't know if he could really evolve into what a Roy Jones kind of style can be. Mario, what you thinking about this fight and the way he's been calling out Jermall? Like, he's been at Jermall's coattails.
Yeah, he's been kind of clout chasing, but like, it's funny because the quote that I guess, sparked the most fire from the article was the fact that he said that Jermall is not a likable guy. But what's funny is I don't really like Chris Eubank Jr. very much. And I'm not saying he's not a likable guy. And obviously there's a lineage there that you have to respect. So I understand. And as much as I agree with you that I think Jermall smokes him, I don't know if he knocks him out. Yeah, he probably knocks him out. But here's the thing. I would like to see the fight anyway. I still think it would be a fun fight. I still think it would be worthwhile. But I just I know Ness likes people like when they go about it this way. I just think you got to earn your shot. And as far as like right this second, I don't know if Chris Eubanks earned his shot, Jermall. I mean,
I could probably tell you like, okay, Jermall had trouble with Kurobov, and my man Chris put him away in 2. So,
that's a good point. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see where that could go into like a back and forth. Like, come on, man, you went 12 rounds of Kurobov, I took him out in 2. Like, I could see where that can go. And I didn't actually see the Eubank Kurobov fight. I don't know if you caught it, so I wouldn't even.
No, I didn't see it either. I just remembered like right when you said that. Oh wait, he did put Kurobov out. And Jermall
but it was an injury. It was an injury. He didn't get a knockout.
Oh yeah, it was a shoulder injury. Yeah, Korobov's shoulder injury happened.
Okay. Because there was a big disparity there. Like, 12 to 2 rounds. Like, damn, Eubank went in there, took him out. So he injured his shoulder nest while he was I guess. All right.
So I mean, look, a lot of this stuck out, right? Like, if you're Charlo, if I'm advising you and we sit down and we talk and you believe you could beat David Benavidez and your trainer believes you could beat David Benavidez, and this is all hypothetical. This is not me saying Charlo has said he could beat him. Obviously, he said he wants David Benavidez. He told Anthony Durrell, if you can't get the rematch, I'll take the rematch. He believes he could beat him. But what I'm saying is, from a trainer and managerial standpoint, if they believe that Charlo could move up to 68 and beat Benavidez, that's the fight to make. Chris Eubank doesn't really bring anything other than the pedigree, the father, the name of the father, the lineage.
Got an interim title, WBA, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, look, Charlo has a real title. You can't unify with Eubank's title. You know what I'm saying? But if you cannot get David Benavidez, this is the next best thing for Charlo.
At 160? No,
at 160, absolutely. At 160, this is the next best thing for Charlo if you cannot get David Benavidez. So let me bring you some facts. Chris Eubank Jr. Would take pleasure, I quote, I would take pleasure in tearing away Jermall Charlo's world title because his rival's head is in the clouds, according to Chris Eubank. He believes Charlo's head is in the clouds. He believes that, Eubank goes as far as saying, look, I'm arrogant, but like, this guy is beyond me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he does. He does. Like, what kind of, and it's funny coming from him though, right? Because like Eubank kind of like carries himself in a certain way himself.
No, definitely has the cockiness that Charlo has, the arrogance that Charlo has, the swag, because they both dress very well. And I think that, Chris Eubank would make for a great press conference. Even though he's not going to be, Clubber Lane, he'll still be, saying very sharp, witty things with a, well-mannered, well-spoken UK accent.
I think he crumbles, I think he crumbles under that Texas pressure, man. You know how these boys be coming to the press conference.
During the fight? During the press conference.
Not at all. His father will be there. I doubt it. But you're correct. Eubank did become the WBA middleweight interim champion in the U.S. when he debuted on the Charlo undercard. And, Charlo obviously made his successful defense on that undercard. Now, and I quote, I've bumped into him a couple of times, Chris Eubank Jr. exclusively told Sky Sports. We've had press conferences before. Both our fights were in New York. He goes on to say, he's not a likable guy. Some people say I'm arrogant or cocky, but I'm down to earth. Decent guy. This guy's head is in the clouds. He thinks that he's more than he is. I would take great pleasure in taking him down a peg or two. When asked if Charlo would, asked if he would target a challenge for Charlo's belt, Eubank said this: absolutely. I don't like his character. He's got the belt, so it will always be an interest. Anyone with the belt in my division, I want to fight. At this stage of my career, I can't afford to take any steps back, so title fights and big names are what I want. Now, where would they put this fight on? Like, again, Charlo's been the first PBC fighter. I know that Eubank has now got to deal with Heyman, but you would feel or expect that there's some sort of seniority or something for Charlo there because he's been there longer. So is this going to be a hometown fight for Charlo, or is this going to be an away fight? Is he going to have to go to the UK to do this fight?
No way.
Yeah.
No way. Either this happens in Texas or it doesn't happen at all.
Really?
Here's the thing. I like Chris Eubank Jr. in the sense that I like what he does, but I don't like him in the sense that, for the same reason he's blaming people for not liking Jermall. What has he ever earned? You know what I'm saying? Who's he beat? Arthur Abraham, James DeGale.
And we really need to go through that because he questioned Charlo's resume. And,
exactly.
Listen, Chris has fought some good people, and I wanted to get to that part in the quote because he's specific. He says, and I quote, obviously, Charlo's a two-division champion, 154-pound and now 160. But, Eubank says, and I quote, I can't comment because he hasn't fought anyone. And this is when asked, his thoughts on how good he is. He said he hasn't fought anyone. He hasn't had any big tests, Eubank Jr. said. Until he fights someone like me, we'll never know how good he is. Anyone can look big and strong and fast against weak opponents. That's all he's had in his career. Until he fights someone like me, he will find out that this isn't a game that he thought it was. Now, I just think that he's a little bit wow.
A little bit wild.
Yeah, he's out of control because Austin Trout, solid opponent. Julian Williams, solid opponent. Especially in retrospect, Julian opponents become
those are all great names, but I think what he means, a guy like him, veracity, coming in the fight. Who on his resume right here?
But again, that's not true. That's not true because when Julian Williams fought Jermall Charlo, there was no fear. He was bringing a fight to Jermall Charlo, and then the jab happened, which dropped him, and then the uppercut finished him in the later rounds, around the fifth or whatever. But many people were very excited about the fight before it happened. Then actually when it was happening, Williams was doing better than we expected, a lot better than we expected, in my opinion anyway, until that Charlo jab put him down.
This is what happens with Chris Eubank, though. He goes into stock mode where he just starts saying these things that have very little clout or have very little substance behind them. You know what I'm saying? This is, what's that saying? The pot calling the kettle black or some shit like that. To me, that's what this is right here. It's kind of funny. Oh, you're the fight we need at middleweight. You're the one who's going to take Jermall to that next level. You're the guy that he's going to fight. And then Canelo's going to suddenly say, I've been overlooking that Jermall guy. Oh, that's bullshit. Come on.
But how many notches does Eubank raise, Charlo's popularity? I mean, look,
I think
-4.
Wow.
I'm
trolling.
I'm looking at this as a UK play, but I'm starting to will PBC put a fight in the UK at all? Because I know that going across the pond sometimes, I guess you give up stuff, quote unquote, or you know what I'm saying? You're taking a risk or whatever. You're giving away the home territory, home advantage, and all that. But fighting Chris Eubank in the UK and kicking his ass in the UK, I think would do good for Jermall Charlo.
It will, because on a global standpoint. But would it raise his, I guess, profile in the eyes of Canelo? Because that's whose attention you're trying to get.
Yo, but we gotta worry about
So.
Canelo. Yo, remember, Canelo's gonna be here for a little bit. Concentrate on building yourself up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Charlo, the moves you make, you want to make them obviously creating your own lane, but also opening up options that doors name Canelo.
Yo,
because you don't want to wait till that. You don't want to. He said 6 years. You don't want to wait till that 5th or 6th year. By the time you finally get that fight.
Yo, so Canelo versus Eubank Jr. I mean, how do you see those styles comparison to like a Jermall Charlo coming in?
Listen, Eubank is an action fight for anyone. For anyone. If you haven't watched this Billy Joe Saunders fight, watch it. You know, the Nick Blackwell fight, watch it. Reginald Quillen, watch it. I mean, he starched the dude that David Benavidez has to fight. What is it? Yerden Anvil or something like that?
Avni Yerden.
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
he knocked
Yerden.
him flat out. You know, Eubank, it might be Jermall Charlo's toughest test, and you know, understand why. I know he's not a world champion. Unless you consider the IBO a full title. But he is a natural 160-pounder who did move up to 68. Did he fight the best at 68? No. But he moved up. He showed he could hang. He carried his power. Charlo's coming from 54. That's where he started his career. Is he a natural 60-pounder now? Absolutely. But who's been the bigger man all their life? Chris Eubank. Who throws more punches? Chris Eubank. Who throws from awkward positions? Chris Eubank. You know, look, it's a very intriguing fight. I'll be honest with you.
Man, you know, it's funny because I'm looking at his resume and I remember all these fights, but I'm like, yo, when did Chris Eubank start getting a decent little resume? Like, it's not anything great, but he's got shooting off on it. He's got Gary O'Sullivan, Arthur Abraham, Nick Blackwell's on there, George Groves, James DeGale, Korbaroff. Like, these are like decent little names. Like, he's amassed, like, okay, not one of those names, but well, at the time he fought those names, they're a little, you know, brought down. James DeGale, Arthur Abraham, like those are a little better names before, you know, he fought him. But when you look at that as like a list, it's not bad.
No, it ain't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I was just gonna say, keep in mind that, you know, there is an argument to be made that Golovkin's ducked him. You know, the Kell Brook fight was supposed to be Chris's. You know, rumor has it, according to Eddie, that Chris Eubank Sr. wanted to reprice the tickets at an astronomical price, something like 20 or 10 times above market value. They couldn't see eye to eye. They parted ways. Kell Brook slid in, took the Gennady Golovkin fight. Cool. Gennady, K2 Promotions at the time should have seen that with a welterweight, they were able to do 400,000 pay-per-view buys. What would they do in the United Kingdom with the son of a legend? But they never went back to that. Why? Because Eubank was an active, natural, 160-pounder that was not afraid.
Bro, don't take this like the wrong way, but you're like fucking Rain Man. Like, I forgot all about that shit. Like, how do you remember this stuff so easy? Like, you were talking and I was like, oh man, I'm about to tell him, I don't think that happened. And then you said something, I can't remember one of the details from the negotiations, and it just snapped. I was like, whoa,
yeah, the ticket sales. I know.
Yeah, it was the ticket sales.
Listen,
I was like, whoa, that happened.
I'll be the first to say that Chris Eubank Sr. was absurd. You know, like he was trying to do too much in part of the promotions. He wanted it to be a co-promotion when in actuality, everyone knows Matchroom is Matchroom. Like, you know what I mean? Who's going to do a better job in the UK than Matchroom? Sometimes maybe Frank Warren, but there's really no competition for Eddie and Matchroom. They're doing their thing. So, you know, Chris Eubank Sr. was he was doing too much. He was trying to do too much. But let me finish up the quotes before we keep the talking going. I want to just give out all the facts. Obviously, and look, this is crazy because I didn't read the entire article, but look, they're talking about right here where Eubank has previously claimed Gennady Golovkin is the #1 name on his list. He says, people, and I quote, people put this guy's name so high, but I know I can beat him. I know that. I have the tools and the style to take this guy out. My speed, my tenacity. I don't think he would be able to deal with it. This is the main fight. Canelo, everybody would love to fight him, but he's not going anywhere. That's what you just said. He will be in the game a lot longer. Golovkin will have a couple more big fights than bow out. I've been trying to get this fight for years. This is the fight that I want. Now, again, I'm saying maybe Golovkin is avoiding that fight, but clearly he's letting you know and reminding you he's been wanting it for years. You know what I mean? But again, with no belt, you know, and so much risk, Canelo's not going to jeopardize a potential, Gennady Golovkin is not going to jeopardize a potential Canelo rematch by fighting, a young Chris Eubank Jr. Because how old is Chris Eubank here? He is what?
Born in 89, so he's like 31.
30,
right?
He's 30, so definitely needs to get on the ball because at 30, Jermall Charlo is more accomplished than him, 2-divisional world champ, legitimate, world champ at 154, and looking for those names to, validate his 160-pound career, and they've been avoiding him. Again, if you can't get Benavidez, if you think Benavidez and moving up is too big of a task right now, or the bag for Chris Eubank is decent, then take Eubank first.
Easy work.
I don't know that it's easy work. Honestly,
I wouldn't call it easy work.
I ain't calling it easy work at all. Like, I watched a lot of Chris Eubank fights. I mean, you got to remember, look, give this kid respect. I'm going to show you how long ago. 2014, we're talking about 6 years ago. Think about it. 6 years ago, and he's got 29 fights. So how many fights ago did he fight Billy Joe Saunders? You know what I mean? And then right after losing, Dmitry Chudinov. Like, this is not a kid that's a punk. He just ain't get the big fights because sometimes...
That was 5 years ago.
Something like what he said about Charlo, right? He said Charlo's head's in the clouds, but these guys' heads are in the clouds. By these guys, I mean him and his dad. When they get to the table to negotiate, they want more than what they deserve based off name and not recognition. Like, he's a multiple division world champ in the IBO. He won it twice. He won it at 60 and 68, but he ain't no world champ. He ain't no world champ. So he gotta come off the high horse himself, realize that Charlo's the champ, realize that he's never been a champ, start taking a little bit of short money so he could get somewhere. Because you're right, he's amassed a good resume, but the big names he's lost to, Billy Joe, he lost to. George Groves, he lost to. Think about that. Callum Smith turned around and beat him. So,
this definitely his ticket into the States, into that recognition. If he beats Jermall, man, he could start making real waves out here in the States.
He beats Jermall, he becomes a legitimate world champion that can never be debated. It's not, he won a vacant title. Who'd he fight to win that title? Jermall is a legitimate 2-division world champion. And the reason I say that is because even though there's an argument to be made that he hasn't fought anybody at 60, there's also the same argument to be made that no one wants to fight him at 60. So
yeah, that's definitely true.
So him and Eubank would be a decent fight again if the Benavidez fight is in there. I think the Benavidez fight is just way bigger, way bigger.
So no, go ahead, Doomy.
I'm just saying, like, this fight I see Chris getting. Look, I could be wrong. Anybody could be wrong in any opinion on how the fight outcome comes up. But I see him getting hurt, man. And, he has a real aggressive style, and the way I see Jermall sharp shooting with that uppercut. I don't know how you guys feel about him training with Roy Jones and Roy Jones trying to give him some wrinkles in his game, like. I don't know if you guys knew that he was training with Roy Jones Jr.
I know. I'm just trying to leave the floor open for Mario. If not, I'll definitely take it over. I got an opinion on everything. Like I said, I'm a talker.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps the promotion for sure. I think it adds layers to it. But, man, I don't know. Look, we saw Chris Eubank dipped his toe in the American waters already, a little bit. But this would be something different. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
remember,
I just
it's
go
not
back
that
to
big a deal. He did train with Floyd Sr. for quite some time. And he was training out of the Floyd Mayweather gym for quite some time.
Of course. Yeah, that's not, that wasn't the point I was making ultimately. What I was trying to say is that when it boils down to it, I just can't get past what, Ness is saying as far as like the options go. If you're going to stay at 160, it's a viable fight. But if you're talking about moving up to 168, there are bigger fish to fry.
Definitely Benavidez being that bigger fish. Now, as far as the Roy Jones, in my opinion, of like him training with Roy, well, the truth is like, I don't think that it does absolutely anything. I've seen Roy train, dozens of fighters: Joel Diaz Jr., Jean Pascal, I believe Ahmed Ebeali, who's now being trained by Justin Gamer.
Supreme Patty.
Supreme Patty. You know, I mean, yo, Roy's had people that he's tried to help out with. Man, I remember Roy training somebody, like commentating, then you, all right, Jim, and go to the back and come out and be the trainer. Like, bro,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yo, getting like, look, we say it about Floyd, you know, but it's true for everyone. Like, just because you get the big name, don't mean that he could train you or that you can adapt what it is he's trying to teach you. I just never seen Roy have success. Like, I don't know who he's won with. Who has he won with? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think even when he was training Pascal lost. Like, I think he trained Pascal, not for Bernard. I think it was what rematches Pascal had? He's had a few, so it's one of those few, I'm telling you. And, yeah, man, I don't know. Look, whatever, that's always been the problem with Eubank. He never had, like, a trainer. Like, he would go to the Mayweather gym, do pad work with Floyd Sr., you know, but he was just training himself. Like, recently, I think before this fight, they made like a big announcement that he finally got a trainer, and it's shocking that now it's Roy. I don't know, man. I don't know what it does. Don't think it does much, to be honest with you. No disrespect to Roy. It's just he hasn't been able to put up a good body of work from a trainer aspect.
So like I seen a couple of videos of Chris training with him, and like I seen one where they're hitting like the double end bag, and I'm seeing him do the pull back and right hand and the pull back and right hand, and like I can see how Roy can add a little bit to him being a little more slicker. Cause that would definitely help him, man. Cause Chris, in my opinion, he be going into this sometimes, and even though he a dog, he takes shots, you know, and he puts himself in positions to get hurt, especially with punches like Jermall. That's what I'm saying. Like if he goes in like that on Jermall will put that shoulder up, wait, and just shoot that uppercut.
Maybe though, because we never seen anybody, you know, with that type of build, that type of athleticism, that height, you know, that power, try to walk Charlo down. Like, remember, Eubank gonna come forward and he gonna let them hands go. So what if he gets Charlo on the ropes? How does he react? You know, and Eubank really lets hands go. Like, he's letting like 4, 5, 6 punch combinations go. Like, he just wings. In my opinion, I think he's wide. I think, you know, eventually Charlo catches him down the middle because he's too wide with his punches.
No, go ahead.
Is there a world where you see him overwhelming Jermall? Where have we see Jermall in the ropes?
Absolutely. There's a world where he could overwhelm Jermall. Not because Jermall's shown us he could be overwhelmed, just because we never seen him deal with it. So you gotta, like, you know, at least give it the benefit of the doubt that it could happen. Like, he's never been in there with someone that's gonna come forward. If you watch the Eubank fight, you know, Billy Joe Saunders fight, he didn't really stop coming forward, even though Billy Joe is the better boxer. Like, he still kept trying. He's just, to me, he's mad sloppy. I mean, he's sloppy. Yeah. Like, you know, people talk about all these other fighters, but yo, it's so many Dillian White sloppy. Eubank is sloppy. Like, there's George Foreman was sloppy. Like, there's dudes out here that's sloppy that don't get that sloppy tag. And it's like, what's going on, man? When punches is coming like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, there's a method to your madness like Maidana. I get you. But is it technically what the fucking trainer wants? Is it technically what boxing requires? Absolutely not. So if one guy is sloppy, they all sloppy, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things where it could be a great fight. Do I see Chris Eubank overwhelming him? He has the kind of tenacity and he brings the kind of approach and style that could could overwhelm, but I just don't think he has the physical tools over Jermall to put him in a situation where he's going to overwhelm him. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he got the tool. Like, if you mean, you know, tool for tool, course not. But does he have the one specific tool to overwhelm? Of course. It's what you said. You know, first of all, it's his will to win. His stamina, the man is a machine, okay? He trains. I've never seen him get tired. Maybe you, like everybody, you know, you start to think too much because Billy's hitting you in your face because, you know, that's the fight where he got hands put on him, but he also let hands go in that fight. I just think that he comes in 100% trained. He lets hands go, and that is the recipe for overwhelming the fighter. being better in better shape and throwing more punches than him. That's how you overwhelm a fighter.
Yo, Korobov, Korobov was coming forward. You know what I'm saying? And Korobov, Korobov, not for nothing, Korobov is stocky. He's compact. And I see Eubank a little more rangier. But damn, if he's able to, come in like Korobov and stay in there and land some hard shots, I think Eubank does definitely punch harder than Korobov. So like, if he gets in there on the inside and he doesn't get clipped, because Jermall clipped Korobov a few times and he couldn't put him away. He got him with some good shots, man. So I'm starting to see a great fight. A great fight, and I don't even think that he's gonna be able to get David Benavidez going up, man. I think David Benavidez and them, they got their own little game plan up there to do what they want to do. I don't think if they just
what's the recipe, like Caleb Plant, you're saying?
Yeah, like they want them titles, they want that work. I don't know if they're gonna be like quick to just be like, all right, I'll take that Jermall fight.
Man, based off my conversations with both Jose Benavidez Sr. and David Benavidez Jr., they jump all over that fight if it was available. They'll jump. You got to think about it, man. He's the youngest champion at the super middleweight division. He's not in any real rush. Like, you've already seen his promoter swerve the Keller Plant fight. Now you see him all of a sudden about to fight a dude that tested positive and got beat by Anthony Durrell in Yeardom, who was knocked out by Eubank. Like, Benavidez ain't in a rush, y'all think. It's just y'all don't really know how to, look through the weeds. But, like, they not in no rush. So for them, they got the advantage in this fight with Charlo. They're the bigger man. Remember, Benavidez was a kid that was a heavyweight. He was sparring as a fucking 12 and 14-year-old kid as a heavyweight. He brought down a lot of weight. So they not worried about Charlo coming up.
How does Eubank, how does he guarantee this fight then? I'm pretty sure Chris is like, damn, this guy got options. How do I make Jermall motherfucking fight me?
Exactly by doing this, because by saying you never fought anybody, you get people talking about this potential fight. And I don't believe that he is correct. Austin Trout is a former world champion with a huge win on his resume over Miguel Cotto. Julian Williams is a former unified world champion with a huge win on his resume, being the first man to beat Jarrett Hurd. He
wasn't unified at the time he fought Eubank, was he? Jermall was.
No. But that's what makes it better. That's what makes the win better. People thought Jermall was gonna duck because Jermall starts saying, I can't make weight no more, I'm out. They're like, nah, fight your mandatory. He's your mandatory. Oh, you ducking. Oh. So he came out, he's like, oh, y'all think I'm ducking? I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna beat the shit out this boy. So he came back, he stood down and did what he said. So, no, you can't say, oh, well, he ain't. At the time, you're right. Just like when Crawford beat Beltran, he wasn't a champion. But after, that's what makes it better. After you got your ass kicked, you was able to regroup, come back, and become a world champion. But for Jermall, for Julian, it's better than Beltran, because Julian wasn't handed the world title. Not to say Beltran was, but I believe Beltran fought for a vacant title, where Julian fought the true man in the division at the time. Jarrett Hurd was the one that was dominant. Jarrett Hurd was the one that unified the division and had multiple defenses. So, Julian's win is, Charlo's win over Julian, that shit was a diamond in the rough.
It definitely. Here's the thing. I give him credit at the time, no matter what. J-Rock was on a tear, and there were people that really thought that he had that in him. And by no means is his career over. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, at the time it was a bigger fight than I think most people remember at this point. And because of the outcome, it's like you could kind of gloss over it. But nah, J-Rock's a very important fight on Jermall's resume. He really is. And I don't know. I go back to what Doomy asked, how does Chris Eubank secure this fight? Like, if you're trying to go for like international popularity, or you're trying to get to that next level, which Jermall should be, but I don't think it's the move that he needs right now. I don't know if he does land it. I don't think it's enough to come out and say you ain't fought no one, or to keep pushing him every day, on social media. Like,
but
to
he's
me,
not in a bad position, guys. It's not like the Charlo Benavidez is set in stone. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's not what I'm trying to say either. All I'm saying is that
he got no
it goes back
positioning,
to what
right?
y'all say. Jamal has options. He does. You know, he doesn't have the options that he wants in Canelo, but he has options.
Look, Jermall got the options. And I think, Mario, what you're trying to say, right, is like Chris Eubank doesn't have a hard positioning, you know what I'm saying, where he could just say, "Yo, this is me right here. You should just give it to me."
It's got to be made.
I
gotta
disagree.
be made.
I disagree. I think I could bring an argument for all sides. For Eubank, I think that you've already been told you're getting this fight. You got to understand what in terms of promoters, who's jumping right now? Like, who's really, like, if you're a fighter on the level of a Eubank and Jermall Charlo, who are the guys you looking to sign with? Come on, quickly, gentlemen, quickly.
Eddie Hearn.
All right. Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, and Bob Arum. You know? And if you're Eubank and you're 160, 168, and you're doing, interviews with Sky Sports talking about you want to fight Gennady, and Gennady's the fight you always want, then why you ain't sit down with Eddie? I'll tell you why, because the offer that Al made is was too good to refuse. But you think that Eddie wasn't interested in Chris Eubank Jr., the son of a legend, a guy that he can make fights with, again, rematch Billy Joe, who's already with Matchroom. Fights with Andre, who desperately needs a fight. Fights with Gennady, who Eubank already wants. Fights with Canelo in the future if you would have went to Matchroom. So I believe that they gave Eubank a lot to sign with Al and them and to come to America, because what do they have to offer him? Everything I told you was on the other side of the street. So you ain't got nothing to offer Eubank except Jermall Charlo.
All right, so like, what other option? So there's no other option besides Jermall Charlo that can put him in a situation where he can start
on the PBC side.
Yeah, on the PBC side, like
who? I don't know. Mario? Who? I don't know.
No, I'm saying like this guy fought at 168. Why not go for the same prize catch that Jermall's trying to go for, so they could, start.
Absolutely. Now, look, I'm not saying that they didn't say, look, come with us. We might not have a lot at 60, but we could get you the Charlo fight, and if you win that, we could bring you up for Benavidez and Plant. But at 68, that's all they got. Benavidez and Plant. He could fight Anthony Durrell. Or was it? Yeah, Anthony Durrell, 168. You know who else they got?
Especially moving up for the first time.
They got Ronald Graville, Mayweather fighter, but that ain't doing nothing. Look, those are just in betweens. Like, ain't nobody gonna be like, oh shit, they just announced Eubank versus Anthony Durrell. Like, nah, ain't nobody.
Nah, you right.
The biggest thing. Listen. If Al sat him down and convinced him not to go to the UK route, bro, the biggest thing he said, I'm glad you helped me, is, come with us. We'll give you Korobov on the undercard of Charlo to build up the fight. If we feel that it's ready, you go straight into the Charlo fight. If not, they're going to give him a tune-up. But I think the plan is Charlo then move him up to 68 where he's already fought. Because they need to give Plant, who's their guy, and Benavidez, who's their guy. Those guys need fights too. Like, Benavidez is a Mexican commodity for Al. And Plant, I know Devin Haney got shit, but Plant is that next white hope.
Yeah, nah, look, if I'm Chris Eubank then, and if Jermall ain't biting to fight me, man, I'm gonna try to take his plate and then put him in a position where, like, yo, you gotta fight me for that plate. The plate being David Benavidez and those guys up there, because if I'm Eubank and you're not trying to give me that fight, how am I going to antagonize you? How am I going to get you to fight me if you're really that fight for me? I'm going to try to snatch your plate. I fought at 168 already. I want those guys. No, I want those guys. Now you got to fight me if you want those guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, because I don't see Jermall like. Is Jermall interested like that? I see Eubank interested, but is Jermall really interested? You got to get him in a position where he's like,
exactly.
You know what? I'm gonna fight this dude. I'm gonna beat his ass.
That's what you made me think whenever you said earlier what you said about him getting on his radar. Like, is he on his radar? And if he's not, how does he get there? Like, I'm sure he's part of an option somewhere, and I don't think it's a bad fight, and I don't think Jermall would think it's a bad fight. I I don't know, man. It doesn't inspire anything from me. Like I think he would be better off fighting Durrell at 168. And to me, the only real storyline there is 168. Although I don't think it's a bad fight, to be honest with you. Might be a little boring to watch, but the Eubank, like, what does that do for him ultimately fighting him at 160? You know, if that fight were to happen, honestly, I'd rather it happen at 168.
Yeah, Anthony Durrell. Isn't Anthony Durrell right now like
he's upset he didn't get his rematch, and upset that the guy that he beat somehow is the mandatory.
Oh man.
Boxing. That's all you gotta say right there.
I don't think. I mean, Anthony Durrell.
Yeah, I would say that. I agree with Brandon in the chat. I love I like Charlo Eubank. It is a better fight than Hogan and Adams. They both were 54-pounders moving up. So that's what I'm saying. That's what he brings. That he's a natural 160. You know, a dude that is big, that is fast. You know, lets hands go. So, you know,
he's very awkward.
And
too,
George Foster from the UK is also correct. Nobody dominates Eubank. He's tough as fuck, man.
How's the bag looking though? How's the bag looking?
I mean, it's in house, so there's money. That's all that we, you know. It's not, at least it's not cross promotion where Eubank gotta be like, you gotta be saying like, damn, but what they gonna give you? No, it's in house. It's in house. This has obviously been talked about. This is not the first time that we discussed this fight. This is not the first time we hear of this fight. Like. You know what I mean? It's out there for a reason. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire.
It's funny because I'm looking at Jermall Charlo's resume, and man, Chris Eubank just fits on there really well. Like, I don't know.
It would be a good name too. It would be a good name.
Yeah,
it would be a name that we mention regularly. Like, yo, he beat Eubank. He just got to do it in good fashion. That's what's going to be important. How he gets him out of there.
Yeah.
Yo, I got a legend son on my resume.
Yeah.
Yo.
Start boasting that up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it got to go. But look, he got, like Mario said, it's a decent little resume. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you ain't ready for Benavidez, why not? You know, if you don't want to make the jump, you don't want to feel rushed, why not? Why not?
That's a good way to put it right there, because as much as I do like the David Benavidez fight, and as much as I do like the plan that we talked about the other day as far as Jermall's incursion into the 168-pound division and what it could look like, I do think that it's also moving not fast, but faster than probably Jermall would benefit him. You know what I'm saying? To throw him into those waters right away at 168. I don't know if that's best for him. You know, it's best for me as a fight fan. I would love to watch it.
Yeah, but what you mean into those waters? He's strategically making the move for Benavidez.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I'm saying is, like, is that fight next? Like, would it benefit him to go to that fight next?
I mean,
he's to be his next fight.
He's the one saying he can do it.
But I'm not asking that. All I'm asking is, would it benefit him for his first fight at 168 to beat David Benavidez?
We didn't think that Mikey's first fight at 47 was going to benefit him, but it benefited boxing.
Okay, but again, all I'm asking is,
I mean,
a simple thing. Would it would it hinder him, or like would it hurt him in a sense that he's not ready at 168 to fight someone like David Benavidez? You know, I can't call it. You know, like, I'm not even answering my own question because I really don't know. Like, it's tough. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And this is the way I look at it is that you got to just look at the style. If I'm looking at Jermall Charlo and I'm worried about him moving too fast up there, and am I worried about the style that David Benavidez, or not even the style, just what he's bringing to the table in the fight? Yeah, I'm gonna sit down with my team. I'm Jermall. I'm sitting down with my trainer and my team, and I'm gonna look at it to see if it's an option where I definitely got a chance, especially if I'm moving up. David Benavidez is young, man. He's rangy. He's young. He's tough. He comes forward, but he gets hit too. You know what I'm saying? And Jermall, out of the two, I think Jermall's the boxer. You know, he's a little. I think his IQ is a little more diverse than his little bro. I see his little bro just more of an attacker. So it's an. I could say that Jermall's experience would definitely help him out in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, also you got to think too. Like, look, Chris Eubank. If you watch his fights, like, I'm not gonna say that he's unorthodox in the sense that, like, like a drunken style type of thing, or like he mixes it up every. I mean, he does mix it up very well, but he's just. I don't know. He's uncomfortable to look at. Like, he's uncomfortable to have in front of you. Like, he's just a dude who will switch his stance up mid punch, and he's throwing these combinations, and he's switching angles on you. It's just he's a weird. He's got a really weird presentation. I guess I'll put it that way because I can't really think of a better word right now. But so that's uncomfortable for any fighter. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter what level you are. That's going to throw you for a curve, and that's going to be something that you're going to have to adjust to in the ring. I just think Jermall does it. I really do. I think he does it. I think it's a tough fight. I think he presents issues, but I think ultimately Jermall's just a class above Eubank.
Yo, you see, it's crazy. You would figure that a Bud fan wouldn't be going down the resume argument, and instead support a fellow champion, do a little research maybe before saying some ridiculousness like Brandon Maurice said to Mr. 704. He says, Jermall beat K9 Bundridge for his 154-pound title and was gifted one at 160. Wouldn't say that's a great resume. Actually, Bundridge was a viable opponent at the time. I know he was probably like 40 years old, but boxing was in such a different place at that time. It was crazy. You guys wouldn't even believe me. But back then, you could be a champion and not get a fight, let alone be on television. And that was the case for K9 Bundridge. He had that IBF, and people just at the time didn't care to fight him.
They didn't care at all.
Yeah, they didn't care to fight him for it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he wasn't gonna make for good TV. He wasn't known like that. And at the time, it was only like Showtime and HBO jumping, the occasional Friday night fights, and there was just no TV time for a guy like K9. Listen, K9 was going around the world early in his career. He's gone and fought overseas in London, and scored knockouts. He's gone to Germany, and scored knockouts. Upsets. These are all upsets. At the time that he became champion, it was a legitimate win over then, Corey Spinks. Shakur Powell was his next fight. That was a good fight. It was on NBC Sports. This is the same time that Gabe Rosado was also doing something very, decent in the 154-pound division. And Gabe Rosado becomes the number one, and I believe the WBO at the same time that Bundridge
been around for a while. Wow.
Absolutely. So Gabe Rosado became number one in the WBO at the same time that Bundridge was doing his thing. So when Shakur Powell fought Bundridge and Bundridge knocked him out, then Rosado got him. So they were obviously, they were about to put them together, but Rosado decided to move up his popularity because of NBC Sports, because that was a new deal. The way we got Steve Marcano from Impact and Adrian from Fight Network, these new networks about to emerge with fights and boxing content. That's what happened with NBC Sports Net at the time. Like Main Events, Kathy Duba got a deal. Boom, she started putting on Zab Judah. And what's my man name from Detroit, the light-skinned dude with the Jerry curl? He was nice too, man. He just never, he never could stay in the gym. Yeah, light-skinned dude, not Jerry curl, but curly hair. He could talk. I think it was like Vernon Paris or something like that. A little nice talker. Nice talker, dog.
Vernon Paris. He had freckles too. Yeah. So, he was he was definitely fun to watch for sure. But man, it's so crazy to think about that too now. Like, he beat Corey Spinks for the title and nobody wanted to fight him. Like,
no.
And look, it's not like I'm gonna go on record and say that Bundridge was just like the most avoided fighter. That wasn't. There were a lot of factors.
It was just an ugly fight, even when Charlo fought him.
Exactly.
So let me give you the history. So he knocks out. He went to decision with Powell. Then he comes back and knocks out Corey Spinks in a rematch. Ishii beats him to become the first time Las Vegas champ. The infamous picture of Ishii crying, and he tunes up with Joey Hernandez, common opponent with Austin Trout. He beats Carlos Molina, which is a decent win, but
in Mexico.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This is Molina post being deported for sex charges. He had like some sort of sex charges, and he had got deported. So
he was in line for some big fights.
He was, yo. He had arguably, he really beat Laura on Friday Night Fights. That's a film study Tuesday right there. So when Charlo beat Bundridge, was he the same version champion that he was from 2010 to 2015? I mean, he was the champ though. Like, he was the champ. You know what I mean?
It was plain and simple. He was the champ. Yeah.
So we went down this line to say that it was a good win for Jermall.
As your first legitimate world title, absolutely. When you smiling with that grin, and we all know that Terrence Crawford fought for a vacant title versus to Delorme, and we all know that Danny fought for a vacant title versus Robert Guerrero. To say that it's not better for Jermall to fight the actual champion who was reigning and defending, I think it's real crazy to say that. He did the better job by fighting the real champ. Not a
and like people got to step up when they got to step up. Like up until then, who had he fought? He fought Luis Hernandez. All right, Antoine Smith. Hector Munoz. Come on, like you know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between K9 Bundridge and the rest of those dude. Is it levels above? No, but you got to remember what that era looked like back then. I mean, you got
he was criticized. Remember, this Big Charlo was criticized because at this time, if you go to this very year, I bet you that Jermall already got a Gabe Rosado win on his resume, and what is it, like Josie Alcline or some shit that beat David Lemieux. So Jermall was further ahead because Jermall was signed to Shelly Finkel and signed to Golden Boy. Jermall was just out him and advised. So it took more time because remember, at that time, there was a coup. They were planning a coup. Like, we buying this company or we taking this company.
He had already fought, this is Jermall. He had already fought Demetrius Hopkins, Jose Angel Rodriguez, Gabe Rosado, Vanez Martirosyan, Joaquim Alkine, I think that's how you say it. John Jackson.
Look at that.
Dennis Douglan.
Before his brother. And that's what I'm saying.
Before his brother.
And now, look at how the world is. Now his brother, becomes champ by knocking out Bundridge. And from there, the opposition just shoots up. It's Wilkie Camphor, Austin Trout, Julian Williams, Sebastian Jorge.
Because if you were covering the Charlos back then, you would know that Jermall was the one who had received all the high criticism first coming up. Like everybody was high on Jermall. Like Jermall was kind of like I don't know how to say this without being disrespectful, but it was kind of like, oh, he's like the dumb one that won't amount to much. Like he's just a great athlete. Jermall's that craftsman. Jermall's that, and it was weird because
he was the boxer at the time.
Exactly, and it completely changed. Like it was like a couple of years went by, and you're like, wait a minute, like that's not the way the dynamic. That's not the dynamic.
It was more like Jermall is more of a complete fighter. He's a better boxer, but Big Charlo has power. But he ain't fought nobody. Nobody.
Yes.
So then
that's what it was.
Then he fought Bundridge, and it was like, man, he old. So then he knocked out Wilkie Camphor. It's like, who the fuck is that guy? So then then he beat Trout and got respect, and he was about to be out. Like, I can't make weight no more. I'm out. And they like, nah, you ducking Williams. So he stood there, beat Williams, then moved up. Supposed to have got, he fought Sebastian Highland for I think it was like a WBC eliminator to be the number one. Then, Golovkin ain't going to fight him because he's trying to stay waiting for Canelo. So, Hugo in-house. He was already at 60 at the time, So he fought Hugo.
Hugo down.
At 60, it ain't the best. So Eubank, Charlo makes sense if you can't get Benavidez. Let's go out to the callers. Those are my final thoughts right there, though, man.
Y'all took me on the DeLorean down.
The thing is,
I know, right?
This is the thing, man. I am a victim, not a victim. I am part of the problem. I used to and probably still do, depending on the argument, tear down fighters' resumes. But if you ain't lived through that era, it's not easy to do that because there is, facts behind all that. You know what I mean?
Austin Trout was that turning point for me, for him. When he beat, I think Austin highly, man, and you get through him is like shit.
For a lot of people, and everybody needs that fight. That, is he real fight? You know what I mean? But honestly speaking, man, the Charlos have been calling out Canelo for years, but it's like Canelo said on that Box Azteca, interview 3 days ago. You got to do something. It's so funny to hear these dudes say the same words I use. Like, bro, you got to do something. Like, there's how many middleweights? Let me just click on this and show you how many middleweights.
They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing to get, Canelo's chops.
1,593 middleweights registered in the boxing world, and you want a Canelo shot. Brother, separate yourself, please. Separate yourself.
What was that number?
1,593, bro. Just 1,600 fighters just in the middleweight division. Everybody wants Canelo. You have to make a reason why, and this does it. Eubank, not necessarily. Benavidez, absolutely. But Eubank is a step in the right direction. Because look, you can make this fight bigger if you want. If you want, you can go to the UK and receive UK pay-per-view, So now it's both countries watching it, a little more publicity, I think. I think the UK will go harder on their publicity. America is going to cover it regardless because of Charlo. So I think you make it more of an international fight, whereas if you fight Eubank at home, and at home, I mean America, like, where do you put that fight? The Barclays Center? And now all the weight is on your shoulders? Does Eubank allow you to go to your true home of Houston and fight you in your backyard? I don't know. You are the champion. Maybe you can negotiate it. Seems difficult.
Yeah, they've been chasing that Canelo Gold. Everybody's been chasing this Canelo Golden ticket, man. And the response is always like, what have you done? What have you done? Some of these guys, I don't know. It's an idea, right? Like, what's it like for one of these guys? They're always chasing Canelo in the States. Like, is there a way to build your name up in Mexico to where, like, you're challenging, like, Canelo's popularity out there? Is there any way to, like, put fights out there and start gaining ground in Mexico where the Mexican fans can start asking for that fight? A lot, there'll be a lot more attention to it from Latino America.
It's going to take a promoter to want to invest in that route, because there's no money in Mexico. The tickets is just like, you can't put on a high-level fight, to garner attention unless who's paying for it. You know what I mean?
It was just a thought, man, because I see how
Remember Jaime Munguia for Dennis Hogan in Mexico. It could happen, but, again, Golden Boy is invested in Jaime, so they want exactly what you're saying. So they put it out there,
Yeah, I'm just saying an American fighter. It's like me going to your ground.
I get you, but what I'm telling you is going to take the promoter to invest in that American fighter. But there's no upside for the promoter, right? Because it's like, bro, I got to take you to Mexico to fight, like, on cards that we not going to make our money back.
Damn, when was there a huge fight in Mexico, man? Ain't they don't they guys like some good venues, big cities? It's a boxing nation, man.
I don't think you got to go to Mexico, man. You go to those border towns of Mexico, like Texas, Arizona. And I know that's probably not border towns, but that's where the demographics are. You build your guy there. You start there, and those in the Texases and the San Antonios and the Arizonas, you start there locally, getting that guy big and putting out the word there. And you do the deportes. You gotta do the laps. You gotta do the laps with the media.
I'm thinking like my man, what's up? Let's go, champ, Cannon and shit. Like, I'll put my sombrero on and go mess with Canelo.
Listen, Andre, the pound for pound supporter is like relative to Shannon. Listen, Shannon paid a lot of money to do that. He paid a lot of money to do that. Yo, you flying around on the drop of the dime. the campaign worked. But look at his energy. Not everybody got that energy too. How many Americans are like Shannon the Cannon Briggs? Who else can do that? Who else can fly around and troll a fighter? And he never got the fight. Let's be real. He never got the fight. All he did was build a brand that he's making money off. Let's Go Champ, shirts, products, a brand. He's probably a speaker. He got the big training gig with Logan Paul, more attention there. So he's been able to spin off that campaign, but that campaign was not successful. Do not get that confused. He never got the Vlad fight or any heavyweight fight.
Didn't he have a fight set up, but then something happened where he got popped?
No, he almost got the Fresno Cuendo fight, and they both fucking popped.
Yeah, that's when he went. Yeah, he got a little depressed after that. He was down about that.
I mean,
don't remember
like him looking that good at like 50 something. I mean, come on, man. There's no way you ain't taking something.
Yeah, bro. He was jacked.
Yo, that's the word.
Yo, his abs had abs.
Hell yeah. He would be in Florida like, let's go, champ. No shirt. I'm like, damn.
He would rip off his shirt at a restaurant and shit. Fucking families were like just scrounging like roaches in the background trying to get out of the restaurant. Yo, that was crazy.
Nah, his campaign cost money, though. He was flying everywhere for Klitschko.
Everywhere. Yo, but people, look, I don't know if it's true, but I heard there would be backers that would just like he would get investors, but they weren't even investors. They were just people that would just fly him to places.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but he definitely, at one point, I was told he definitely, had people paying for it.
That's what I heard too. I heard he had people basically staking him in that campaign.
Because people believed that, look, imagine
it was going to lead to something.
Imagine he would have got the fight. Whoever backed him
would have been huge.
Would have made some money.
But Cannon has become sort of like, I mean, not in whole comparison, but kind of comparing it to a Rocky, bro, that moniker, Let's Go Champ is in every gym. No,
listen, absolutely.
It's when I see Ness, about the stress, let's go Champ.
I hear you.
I get the same thing from him, so it's that's motivation.
I hear you.
Bro.
No, he created something beautiful that's gonna live forever, but the campaign was not successful
getting the fight
at its core mission. Did it evolve into more? Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't want him. I didn't want him to get fucking destroyed by Vlad.
Destroyed ain't even the word. Vitaly.
I really didn't, man.
Vitaly murdered him already. Why he wanted Vlad, I never understood.
Yo, that video where he's on a boat and Vlad's on the wakeboard.
Yo, listen. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did you see that one, Mario? When they're they're doing wave circles around Vlad, the whole shit was entertaining.
Yo, it was entertaining, and you're right. It became this mantra. I don't know if y'all remember Ronnie Coleman or not. He's a 8-time Sandow champion.
Oh yeah.
And he used to be in the gym talking about lightweight, and he would just move these incredible numbers. People had no idea what was going on. I mean, now he's crippled because of it. So that wasn't good. But at the same time, nobody could take away what he did. That man, and that's kind of what it reminded me of. Everybody would be in the gym, lightweight, and then the Shannon Briggs things, the same things. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. It's just this thing that took off. And even Ronnie Coleman's benefiting off of that lightweight stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. To say it wasn't a successful campaign based on the fact that it didn't meet its end goal, I get you. And you're right.
At its core.
But it was a successful campaign in the sense that he's able to profit off it all these years later.
Fucking shirts, all types of shit.
Hell yeah, man!
All types of good shit came from that shit. Damn, y'all. So I wonder how the TBV fam is feeling about this Charlo Eubank situation, man. We are the champions, my friends. I mean, it's up to you guys. I don't know if we're going to the callers. If y'all want to keep kicking it right now.
Yeah, that was my final thoughts on it.
Yeah, because I'm all for it, man. I know that Eubank's gonna make this an entertaining fight. So if I get this fight, I'm not mad. Does it happen in Texas? Do we get a big crowd? Do we fill up a big stadium? Does the American public want to see this fight? Do we want to put him in a body bag, send him back across the pond? Or are we going to the pond, across the pond? You feel me? Are we gonna go out there and go terrorize, the stadiums and shit, and take him out? You know what I'm saying? And leave and shit, Minutemen style. I don't know. I don't know what.
I think it's a bigger fight over there to me. With Texas, I don't know if it loses based on the. I don't even want to call it the casualness of the Texas fight fans, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, obviously there's hardcores everywhere, but to me, I don't know if the fight's as big as it would be in the UK. I mean, I'm sure most people would agree with that, but I just cannot see a world, or envision a world, I should say, where Jermall goes over there. I just don't see it. I don't know.
So I'm texting with Ronnie. I just like right now is when I decided, damn, why I didn't call Ronnie? So he's available if y'all down. What y'all think? Right? Remember, Ronnie's obviously the trainer of Jermall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Whatevs, man.
Whatevs. All right. Well, you guys will start so I can put this post out to the patrons so they can ask their questions. Patrons listening. You already know what it is.
Still gonna give them the post. That's what's up.
Yeah, patrons listening, get ready to, check your notification bell because we about to get this thing pop-a-dopping. Let me text Ronnie back. I'm gonna just have him call straight into the studio.
Okay, I'll be looking out for that number. Of course, Ronnie Shields, trainer of Jermall Charlo, who we're talking about today, fighting Chris Eubank. I think I don't know if he'll have like any information on whether this fight is like something that has been talked about though.
Yeah, but I'm glad he's coming on because
but we don't need that. All we need is his hypothetical. What if Eubank happened? How would you approach it? Do you prefer Benavidez? Sure. Do you prefer moving up for Benavidez? Would you recommend that to try? Like that's what I want.
Yeah, there's plenty to talk about. I'm just saying, like, you had said earlier you think that it's been talked about between the two, or at least brought up. And I would like to know if that's true or not, because I'm not saying you're wrong, but at the same time, I don't know that you're right.
Keep your eye out for 281.
I love the coach's perspective. I clash with that pretty good, so I can't wait for Ronnie to come on because he's got to have some jewels to drop on if that's the way to go,
For sure. You're right.
And
I hope he sees it my way. I hope he sees the big fight in the Benavidez and would love it. He's there. Damn, I hope I didn't sway his opinion. Well-renowned trainer Ronnie Shields in the building. Ronnie, man, you are a superstar. Thank you for always having time for the Boxing Voice. We appreciate you dearly. How's your day going? And hopefully COVID-19 is not affecting you and your family.
Everything is going great, man. No, it's not affecting us at all. We, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, staying in, going out only when we have to, and everything is good.
Ronnie, how you doing? Alex here with you. Thanks for coming on, man. You're a legend coach. And we were just talking about Jermall Charlo, and Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank Jr. has been out there for a little bit now, calling out his name, and we were just kind of breaking it down to see which way Charlo would go right now. We feel like he has a lot of options. We feel like he can move up to 168, take on the likes of David Benavidez, and try to make these marquee high payout fights. But how do you feel about Chris Eubank and what he's bringing to the table, and how do you see Jermall fancying against him?
Well, I think Chris Eubank is a good fighter. He came down from 168 to try the middleweight division, and it's hard to say. He only had one fight at middleweight that I know of, and that was against Crawford, and it was just too early when Crawford got hurt to see what was going to happen in that fight. So, but since this thing happened, with the virus, I don't know. Right now, we're not looking at really I mean, we're looking at a lot of different people, but I mean, with not knowing when we can go back, that's the problem. You know, I mean, we could say we go fight this person or that person, but until we get a confirm that we even going back this year, you know, which I hope we do. But right now, man, I mean, I'm not even thinking about boxing right now. To even think about who can we fight next.
Hey, Coach, Mario Munguia here. So I understand fully what you're saying. A lot of uncertainty out there, but we did see Jermall kind of hint at the idea of moving up to 168, which sparked us on this show to talk about the likes of David Benavidez and what that fight would look like.
Let's be clear. Hate to interrupt. He didn't hint. He literally said, I'll move up to fight David Benavidez. He was on an IG live with him and Anthony Durrell, and he was like, look, if they don't give you the rematch, I'll take him out. You know, so, and yeah, I talked to him in Mexico, too, for the WBC convention. That was another time that he said he wouldn't mind fighting Benavidez. Also, the father of Benavidez and Benavidez himself said they wouldn't mind that fight.
Yeah, it's just a figure of speech, champ. So what are your ideas about that, you know, not regarding the fact that, you know, you don't know what's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, I don't know if Jermall would move up to 168 without, you know, continues to defend his middleweight title. I mean, he's not a 68-pounder right now. He doesn't have problems making 160, so I haven't spoken to him about anything like that, about him moving up to fight Benavidez at 168. Somebody called me and told me the other day that they heard him say something, him and Durrell talking, but, you know, I think it's just talk, you know. I mean, look, he's a fighter, you know, and all fighters talk. So they all want to fight everybody. I mean, that's just the way boxing is, you know. But will it happen? I doubt it, because, again, you know, Jermall is WBC middleweight champion, and why would he want to, especially in his next fight, why, you know, after all of this stuff is happening, why would he want to go up to 168 to fight anybody, you know, at 168 when, you know, there's so many fights at 160 that, you know, that he can fight.
So from a trainer standpoint, you don't recommend it?
Well, it's not that I don't recommend it. I mean, look, if we come back, let's say we come back in September, you know, I mean, he still got plenty of fights at 160. You know, I mean, look, you got Devin Jacob. He's there. You know, he's a good fight for him at 160.
And you don't think that's easy? You don't think that's difficult to make? I hate that I'm cutting you off, but I got to get these tough ones in. Like, you don't think that's difficult to make, being as though the Daniel's on what you call dead zone?
Well, I'm not. Look, I mean, the fight can happen. I mean, he don't have a contract with them, so he could fight wherever he want to fight. He don't have a contract with them. At least not that I know of. So it should be easy to make. Plus, he's ranked number one at the WBC in the WBC. So that probably be easier to make than anybody else right now. Plus, he's with I. So why not?
I just feel like the David Benavidez fight is a marquee fight that gives Jermall Charlo the attention that he's seeking, the attention of a Canelo Alvarez, plus opens up doors, right? Everybody wants Benavidez playing. If Charlo dethrones, you know, Benavidez, then so many options happen for him. The Eubank fight is still there, just like the Canelo fight, I mean, may present itself because of that, you know. Canelo's spoken about David Benavidez. Why not take a guy out that's on the radar before he becomes an opponent? I mean, and think about it like this. I know I'm long-winded again, but I want to give you a lot of stuff right here. Like, Earl just did it with Mikey.
Yeah, but, you know,
Earl just did it with Mikey, though, Ronnie.
It's not as easy to just say, okay, you're going to fight this guy next. No, it just don't happen that way. You know, I mean, look, Jermall has a team. He has a team around them, you know. Al Heyman has to come up and approve everything. You know, Al Heyman may not like the fight. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, it's not me saying, okay, I think that's the route we should go. You know, I mean, look, if you want to get Canelo, he can still get Canelo. I mean, he don't have to fight a guy like David Benavidez in order to get Canelo. I mean, you know, I think Canelo, that's a good fight for us, you know. But can we make that right now? No, we can't, because he got another option that he's trying to go through. So, you know, these fights aren't as easy to make as just saying, you know, especially in making them in public. You're not going to make this fight in public. It just ain't going to happen that way. You know, who's going to make this, who's going to make that. And right now, especially coming back after this virus, you know, I mean, we don't know what the purchases are going to be like now coming back, because, you know, you're not going to have a TV audience. I mean, you're not going to have a studio. You're going to have a studio audience. You're not going to have a full audience out there, and you don't know what the TV is going to do. So, I mean, you know, fights, I think boxing is going to change now. I don't think there's going to be that much money out there like it was before.
So are you saying that the market's going to drop and that fights won't be as worth as much, or are you saying it's going to take a while for boxing to recover and thus have the money for big fights?
No, absolutely. I don't think the market, it's going to take the market, it's going to take it a while to recover. That's number one. Number two, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we don't know how much TV is going to have now to say, okay, let's make this fight or that fight for this amount of money. You know, these guys, they want to get paid. I mean, you know, Jermall haven't fought in a while now, and I know Benavidez haven't fought in a while now either. So it depends on what these guys are asking for to try to get this money. But that's why I say, you know, fights aren't going to be as easy to make right now, I think, because of everything that's happened.
So, Ronnie, what about this way? Put it this way. Do you think that Jermall versus Benavidez could be as big as Earl versus Mikey was? And how is that any different than Mikey moving up 2 divisions to fight Earl and make a super fight? I mean, obviously he didn't win, but it did great business for the both men.
Yeah, but, you know, well, boxing is a business. But again, you know, it's not for me to say, hey, Jermall, okay, you're going to go up to 168 and fight this guy. It's not for me to say that. You know, I'm as the trainer in this thing, you know, but also I have an opinion, you know, but, you know, it has to come from Al Hammond first, you know. I mean, Al Hammond makes the final decision. He's Jermall's manager. That's what he does. You know, he does a great job in handling these guys' careers. And if he says, look, you know what, I think this is a fight we should look at, then definitely we're going to take a look at it. But it's not up to Ronnie Shields to say, hey, you know, this is the fight we're going to go after.
But do you think your guy could beat him?
Well, you know what, I haven't, tell you the truth. I mean, I've seen Benavidez fight a few times, but it's not like I have to sit there and study a guy like Benavidez. You know, I've studied guys before I even open my mouth and say, hey, we're going to fight this, you know, we could fight this guy, we could fight that guy. I mean, I've seen him fight, but I never sit down and studied him because I never had to. So just like any other guy that I think we had the possibility of fighting right now, this is the first I'm hearing about this. You know, I heard yesterday about the thing with him and Darrell talking, but that's just, you know, it could be just talk. I mean, I don't know. But as far as I know, you know, we still fighting at 160. So I have no clue about anything about 168. I've never had to even look at nobody at 168 before. So, because I don't have nobody there. So it's no sense in me saying, studying a guy that I'm not going to fight.
Now, have you at least analyzed or began to analyze Chris Eubank, since that was something that was mentioned in the past and he was on your guys' undercard?
Yeah, I mean, I took a look at this guy. I took a look at him. You know, I mean, I looked at a few of his fights. You know, he is a good fight for Jermall. But, again, you know, with us, Al Hammond makes all the calls. So if he calls me and says, hey, man, I think you need to start looking at this guy, then that's what we do. But until I get that call, then, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, we didn't even know when we're going back for me to even start looking at opponents. But I do look at everybody in the middleweight division. And I have looked at Eubank, and I like the fight. But, again, you know, there's a lot of fights in the 160 I like right now. But, you know, it's not up to me to say, hey, this is the guy we want.
Ronnie, Alex again, but in a world where, you know, you as a coach could decide the next step for your fighter, who is that guy that you would put your loop on and get ready for?
I would love to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's the number one guy on the radar.
And do you think that Jermall Charlo has, I guess, done enough to, I guess, catch that golden ticket in Canelo Alvarez? Do you think that up to this point, he can actually, you know, get Canelo's lip smacking, you know, ready to fight Jermall Charlo? Because Canelo's chasing legacy, you know, and he keeps telling these guys, like, what have you done, or what are you doing? You're not just gonna present me an undefeated record and expect to get the fight. What's the sustenance of what you've done and who you fought? So who has Jermall Charlo fought or needs to fight in order to get Canelo really looking at him?
Well, look, it's not going to matter who he fights. I mean, look, he's the champion of the world. Simple as that. And Canelo is chasing champions. So why not fight Jermall Charlo? I mean, it's a division. You know, they took his title away to make him a franchise champion in order for him to avoid his mandatory, who's Jermall Charlo. So, and in the meantime, you know, Jermall is just fighting who they put in front of him. I mean, it's not Jermall's fault that if Canelo don't want to fight him. I mean, simple as that. But we can't just keep fighting guys and all of a sudden that they're not good enough in the eyes of everybody else. I mean, what kind of business is that?
All right, Ronnie, I know you're pressed for time, so we're going to run through a few questions from the people as fast as we can. We got Tyson that says, did Charlo ever get an offer from Canelo?
No, not that I know of. Well, no, I think they did get one, but it wasn't the time that Oscar De La Hoya said that he got an offer to fight Canelo. That was not true. But we did get a low ball offer, and it was after that he got a low ball offer to fight, but then the fight couldn't happen anyway. So.
All right. We got King Amin in Essex says, if Charlo told you that he had 5 fights left in him before he focuses on promotion side of things, who does he fight? Give us who you'd either advise him to fight or would like to see him fight.
Well, number one would be Canelo Alvarez. That's my number one. Number two, I would say Triple G, number two. Number three, move up to 168, fight Danny Jacobs. Number four, I don't know about who will be the fourth guy, but those guys, well, I think Canelo, Triple G, move up to 168, fight Danny Jacobs. And, you know, after that, then, I don't know.
All right, we got...
But that's what I would like.
We have George Foster in the United Kingdom says, do you think it's been a tough transition for Charlo acclimating to 160 from 158?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you know, he got too big for 154 pounds. You know, I mean, when we fought the last fight at 154 against Julian Williams, we wasn't going to even take the Julian Williams fight because he was having that much trouble making the weight. But then Julian Williams really, he got on Jamal's nerve because he was ranked number one, and he just consistently, man, was calling out Jermall. I mean, calling him names. And this is a guy that we fought on a lot of cards together. They used to hang together. And I never thought we would have a problem like that with these guys. But then Julius kept talking. He said, man, I'm making this weight one more time to fight this guy. He said, I got to do that. And, and then he knocked Julius up. So, and definitely we had to move up because, he couldn't make, we had hell trying to make that weight for that fight.
All right, we got the next one coming from James Benitez. Says, what's different between training one Charlo over the other? Yeah, once upon a time you did train both.
Well, I had Jermall Charlo first, and then Jermall wanted to try to go out for the Olympics, and so a year later he turned professional. So look, they both are good fighters, and they both work really hard, and so but it was easy training both of them. They both got different attitudes, but it was easy for me to train both of them. It was never a problem with me training them.
All right.
Especially together. It was easy.
We have Stainless in Detroit that says, Ronnie Shields, always an honor and pleasure. I've heard countless interviews from you on The Boxing Voice now. And first, I want to thank you for always offering your time to the show and us, the hardcore fans of boxing, for your candor and your opinion, and most importantly, your time. My question is, what will be the big fight to bring the attention back to boxing once it starts back up again?
Well, I think the big fight can't happen right off because so many guys, been off for so long for right now. But I think the big fight in boxing is going to be Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I think right now that's probably the biggest fight that could be made in boxing.
All right, we have Lids Low in Decatur, Georgia says, what's your top 3 fights for Jermall if it was all up to you and not Al Heyman? You already answered that. Just wanted to give him a shout out. You actually gave 5, Lids Low, instead of 3.
Yeah.
Victor Baluel says, it's painfully obvious that Canelo gets to choose who he wants to fight. What 3 fights do you believe that Charlo needs to make in order to garner the attention of a superstar like Canelo? Now, that's a different question. Beautiful worded, too.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to ask Canelo that question. That's a good question for him to answer. Because, obviously the guys we're fighting, he don't think Jermall's thing is big enough or I have no idea. That's a question that Canelo has to answer because, if we shouldn't have to do that. Have to fight different fights. If he wants to fight champions, Jermall is a champion. If he wants to keep his franchise championship at 160, then he should fight the world middleweight champion in that division. And that's Jermall Charlo. So it seems like it doesn't matter who we have to fight. It's when he wants to fight, who he wants to fight. So there's nothing we could do in order to seem like to please him.
I disagree, Ronnie. I feel like if Charlo got his popularity up to where he was selling the likes of tickets that Errol Spence sells in Texas, he gets the attention of Canelo because then it's a big fight in Texas. It's my opinion that Canelo versus Earl could do close to 100,000 tickets in Texas. Why aren't people saying that Charlo and Canelo can do that? It's because he needs some hometown big fights like Earl has had. Earl sold 48,000 tickets, and with a mandatory, he sold 14,000 tickets. It's about popularity, what you bring to the table.
Yeah, of course. But look, it's still, he's going to get paid the same money he makes whether he fights Joe Blow or whatever because of his contract. So he shouldn't be worried about what another man is going to get paid. Look, it's a fight that I think people want to see. I think Jermall has a certain style that gives him trouble, and that's the problem. And he knows that Jermall is not only a good fighter, but he has power also. And so, why the fight can't be made, I still don't know. And And to this day, we just have to figure it out. But, look, it's word out there that Triple G don't want to fight him again. But he has to take the fight because because of the contract that they have with Dazn. So, I don't know. Look, that's like saying why Marvin Hagler wouldn't fight Sugar Ray Leonard again. Who knows, man? It's something that he has to fight somebody. And it's not like he has a whole lot of choices out there, because he doesn't. Because you're talking about everybody with a name out there. Just give me names and tell me who's the most popular guy out there. So, it is what it is. Look,
listen, if you get Gennady, Jacobs, even Andrade, you get Canelo's attention. If you unify the division, you get Canelo's attention. So unifying would be Gennady, Andrade. And if you get Jacobs, you get his attention. Why? Because Jacobs is a common opponent that, unfortunately I love him, but, Canelo did it. He shined in that fight. So it would make it a barometer fight. Can Charlos shine? Can he do better? Can he stop Jacobs? Those questions arise. But we got a few more, and I know you're pressed for time. We got Greatness in Harlem says, when Charlo moved to 160, did Charlo have a goal at 160? And how close is he to completing that goal at 160?
Yes, we did have a goal. The goal was to fight for the championship in 3 or 4 fights, and we did it in that amount of time. That was number one. Number two, the goal was to fight Canelo Alvarez. We was following him up to 160 also, because we couldn't make the weight. So, I think whenever you move up in weight, the first thing you do is say, who's the best guy at the division? And that was Canelo Alvarez, and that's who it was after. So in order for us to get that title, we would have to go through Canelo Alvarez. But as it turns out, it made him franchise champion, gave us the championship, and that was it.
All right, we have Dennis in Tampa says, are you pursuing Charlo to move to Dazn for one fight?
Never. Absolutely not.
All right. We have Israel Weber in Oklahoma says, Mr. Shields, thanks for coming on the Boxing Voice. No questions, just wanted to let you know when COVID clears up and you're next in Oklahoma, lunch on me. We have the next one from...
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
No, listen, he owes everybody lunch, by the way, but he's a man of his word. He definitely bought me lunch.
Okay.
We got Sonny Woods says... Sonny Woods, where's Sonny from? I think he's from New York, right? Maybe. He says, no, actually, well, I think let's just go with New York till he clears it up. I think trash talking is a natural part of boxing. It helps promote. Who's the biggest trash talker? The Charlo twins. No, excuse me, of the Charlo twins. Thank you for your time. # Lines Only.
I don't know, man. They both talk a lot, but probably, I don't know. I probably would have to go with Jermall. I think Jermall probably talk more trash than anybody. I think he probably talk more trash.
Me too. Were you impressed? First of all, did you think he lost to Harrison, and were you impressed with the rematch?
Actually, I didn't think he lost to Harrison. I thought he won the fight, but I think it was just, I don't know. The judges probably didn't like him or something in that fight. It was crazy the way it was happening. But I think, actually in the second fight, Harrison, he surprised me by going forward. I really didn't think he could fight that way. And he proved me wrong, because he did fight that way. And it was a close fight going into the last few rounds. But, I was really surprised about Harrison. I thought he put up a good fight, but I think Jermall was just, he wanted it more. And I think he proved it, and he went out there and he took the title back.
Ronnie, tell me you got a few more minutes, because we got like 3 more really good ones.
All right, come on. Let's do it.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Stonebone Boxing in Colorado says, no disrespect by this question, but little Charlo's boxing ability has struggled chasing the KO since he left your gym. My question is, would you ever consider training him again if he came back to you?
And that's a very hard question because I don't know. Our attitudes clash, and and for me, if I got to clash with a person every day about what's right and what's wrong, I don't question their abilities, so don't question my judgment when I'm training and I'm giving you a game plan, and I don't have to be questioned about why this or why that. Try it. Just try it. It's all I ever ask anybody. Just try when I want this. But that our breakup wasn't because of nothing like that. It was because he wanted to open up a gym and train at his gym, and I just had too many guys to be going here and there. And so that was the reason for the breakup, and that was it. But as far as, and because, he thought he knew more than me. And so, I don't know. It would have to be a long sit down and talk for me to get to him, to explain to him that I can't have him questioning what I do in order for us to work together.
Yeah, I'm going to lean more to the fact that you couldn't get him to stop questioning you, because I can't believe that you gave up a world champion because of distance. I mean, I know you've been training world champions for your entire life, but whoa, like, isn't that a lot of money to let go? Like, don't you, I mean, I know you got to be doing this for
you know what? Let me tell you something, man. I would rather, it's a lot of heartache in training fighters sometimes, but to get the heartache away, I don't care about the money, I really and truly don't. It wasn't because of the money. If it was because of the money, I would still be with him. I would just accept anything, and I'm not doing it. That's not the way I work. I don't work that way. Anybody that knows me will tell you the same thing, that I don't care how much money you will make it. You're not going, if you can't listen to me, and if I got to argue with you every day in the gym, oh no, that's not going to work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that it's obviously more about the lack of being able to communicate than it was the distance. You said, no, once he got his own gym, I was like, I don't want to do that. But I feel like it was more he couldn't listen to what you wanted. But anyway, moving forward.
No, it was more than that. No, but he wanted me to train him at his gym. And at a time when I was training at the same time, I'm training everybody else. How can I do that? I can't go to two places at one time. I couldn't do that. And I say, look, man, I got guys that's far more advanced than you. I can't just pick up and go train you at this time when I'm training 5 or 6 guys, back to back to back. And then, I can't do that. I got to push them back. And now you're messing with my whole day. I can't do that. And I wasn't going to do that. And if, look, I got him to the point to where he was ready for the championship. I spent a lot of time with this dude. I spent more time with him than any fighter that I've ever been with, building him up, building him to fight different styles, building him to do this, to do that. It was a lot on me, and taking him, when he first turned professional, I turned him to pro with Shelly Finkel. Then after Shelly Finkel, I got him with Josh Dubin. And after Josh Dubin, I got him with Al Hamer. It was a lot for me. I'm maneuvering him the whole way by myself doing all of this. And picking the fights and doing this and doing that to get him to understand the sport. And then when you open up a gym and you want me to train you at a certain time, when I'm training everybody else, hey, that just didn't work.
All right. We have J-Mac in New Orleans says, good morning, Ronnie. How much of a chance?
Good morning.
How much of a chance you give Terrence Bud Crawford versus Jermall Charlo at 54? This is a beautiful question because you trained them, and these two guys were going at each other. I think it's a beautiful pay-per-view fight. Listen, Jermall will bring out everything out of Bud in the press conference. But yeah, what do you think stylistically? How's this look?
Well, I think Jermall is too strong for him. Jermall. Crawford, man, I love Crawford. This kid can fight. He can fight from both stands, the southpaw and orthodox, and he's just a good fighter. But he's never been in with a guy like Jermall. Fast hands and can punch. He punch better. With as the rounds go on. He's not one of these guys that Crawford is going to bully. He ain't going to bully him, especially at 154. Now, if Jermall, he only had a chance, I think, with Jermall, if Jermall was to go down. He tried to go down in weight to fight him. That would be the only thing, because I don't think he could hold his power at, going down to welterweight to fight Crawford down there. But at 154, no, I just don't see it. Crawford, he's going to be in the fight early because, he's just a skilled fighter. But I think as time goes on, though, just like with the Harrison fight, as time goes on, look, Jermall don't lose anything. He keeps his speed and his power at the same pace the whole fight. So I just think he's too strong at 154.
So what sort of credit would you give Crawford if he took that fight and if he won that fight? Both separate answers, though. Like, just what would...
Look, if he took that fight, I think, look, I have no doubt he would take the fight because he's a fighter. He's one of the best fighters, pound for pound, in the world today. Why wouldn't he want to take the fight like that? But if he took it and he won, I think that just shows that, that he belongs in the pound for pound talk, like Canelo, like Arrow. He just belongs there.
Would that be a greater win for Crawford than Floyd's win? Okay, so if Canelo would have beat Floyd, is that the same equivalent of Floyd beating Canelo? If Crawford beats Charlo, is that the equivalent of beating Canelo for Floyd? If I didn't confuse you?
I think it. No, you didn't confuse me on that. I think that's perfect. I think that's a perfect comparison.
Now, do you think it's a pay-per-view off the bat? But never mind that. We're gonna double back to that. Okay, well, good. All right. So here's the better question. Out of all the fights where the fighter has had to move up, you're older than me. You can give us history. I'll start from what we remember. Things like Mikey Earl, Brooke, Gennady, Khan, Canelo. Who am I missing? Rigo, Lomachenko. Who else am I missing? I don't know. But out of all those little guys moving up, is Crawford moving up to Jermall Charlo more of a 50-50 fight than because all those other ones, that's why Earl doesn't speak to me, because I didn't think that was competitive. I was right. Brooke, come on, that wasn't competitive. Khan versus Canelo, not competitive. None of those fights ever been competitive, and they're still pay-per-views for some reason.
Right.
But how competitive do you think, the betting lines would be for Crawford and Jermall?
Yeah, I think it'll be a 60-40 bet across the board, to tell the truth. But I think that fight definitely will belong on pay-per-view. And I think people would definitely buy it because they know that they both are great fighters and they both bring something different to the table. What Crawford brings is he brings a style that a lot of fighters haven't figured out yet, And that's, one minute he's right-handed, the next minute he's southpaw, And he don't bring a lot of power to the fight, but what he does bring his skills. And that's the one thing that people realize that this kid has. He has skills. And that's just something that you can't buy. You can't make up skills.
Well, he is on a 7 or 8 fight knockout streak too, maybe even more than that. People think he doesn't have power, but he's been knocking everybody out for the last more than 6 fights for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it, he's a good fighter, man. I mean, if you don't think Terrence Crawford is a good fighter, then something is definitely wrong.
Is Sean Porter's what fight is tougher for Crawford, Sean Porter or Jermall Charlo? Excuse me, yeah, Jermall Charlo, yeah.
I think Jermall Charlo is a tougher fighter, but Sean Porter brings a tough fight also. Now at 147, Sean Porter, you know, his style, and they always tell you styles make fights. With his style, that's why he gave Errol, you know, Errol fought Porter the way Porter wanted. You know, he wanted to fight Porter his way. He didn't want to box Porter because he wanted to show that he could fight going toe-to-toe. You know, which he didn't have to prove that to anybody. I guess he wanted to prove it to himself. But I think Errol could have stopped Porter if he would have just boxed him and that Porter run in the shots, but that's not the way he wanted to fight him. And he wanted to go toe-to-toe with him, and that's what it was. But with Terrence Crawford, Porter, he brings a lot of problems to him at 147. And that's why that fight is going to be hard to make.
Oh, you think that the top ranked side won't make it because of the difficulty of Porter?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You got to remember. I mean, people keep forgetting that boxing is a business. You know, sometimes fights that you think could be made so easy can't be. You know, because one side or the other feel you're taking too much of a risk. And why risk that when you can get to make more money fighting this guy, Elvis Spence, than you could with Sean Porter? So let's just forget Porter and go straight to Spence. You know, if we can't get Spence right now, then let's just fight somebody else to keep us busy, and then that fight is going to happen. But why take that chance? Because if you lose that fight.
I hate business of boxing, but I understand. I tell these guys every day. No, I understand. I tell them every day. They don't believe me, man. They don't understand why some of these fights can't happen. But look, we got some more. Just two more,
That's
and
right.
you're out of here. Big Supermax.
Well, I got you. I could do one more. But
All
I
right.
can't do two.
No problem. Supermax, lucky you. You're a mastermind. He gets his in Plainview, Texas. When can we get Charlo versus Andre fight?
I don't know. Probably never. I don't know. You know, that's just a fight that, you got two different guys on two different networks. And, and while they keep hollering, oh, we offered them $7 million this, now one of these guys, Eddie or Demetrius, had people to call out. That's funny that happens all the time. These guys want to try to negotiate through the media, and you can't. If you negotiate through the media, you have to negotiate with the powers that be. And Al Heyman is Jermall's manager. They have never called Jermall's manager about that fight. And, and Eddie Hearn, he talks this and he talks that. Demetrius talks this and talks that. But why don't they just pick up the phone and call Al Heyman instead of try to call Jermall and get Jermall to say, yeah, I'll do the negotiation myself. That's why he have a manager. He has a manager. That's why he pays his manager to handle his business. So why would he go out and negotiate a fight when he got a manager? That just don't make sense. So that's what it is.
Nah, man, Ronnie, you speaking the truth. We appreciate your time and candor. Obviously, thank you always for coming on. I know you don't really do the social media thing, but if you want to give any social media for anyone listening that hasn't been following, you can do so. Do that now. And once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, man. I just appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gents. World-renowned trainer, Ronnie Shields.
OG.
Breaking it down, giving you guys the hurt business, man, because I know a lot of your feelings are hurt right now with the truth that he spilled, man. But that is the truth. We're going to go out to these sponsors and open up these phone lines. I'm glad that we was able to bring you a little bit of substance there with a trainer of the actual topic.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yo, that Jermall Charlo fight. So that means they won't make that fight either, man. If according to his logic. To Ronnie logic. Ronnie logic is they ain't gonna make the Bud fight. I mean, they ain't gonna make the Porter fight because they don't want to risk the Bud fight. So if they ain't gonna make the Porter fight, there's no way they're gonna make the Charlo fight.
Yo, I was just like, man,
Remember, he's only a trainer. Yes, he's been in the business forever. He's trained, Tyson, fucking Norris, everybody, but like, he's still just a trainer.
But you know what the problem?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
He gave a real direct answer as a coach, though. Like as a coach, like I was like, I didn't want to swallow that pill, and the way he was saying it, that this can't happen and this can't happen, and I'm waiting for whatever Al's call is. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like he's basically head on strong as a coach. Like I'm just waiting for the call. Like whoever they put in front of us, we're gonna start getting ready for him. But he just doesn't feel like going up to 168 is the way. Like there was no like real like feeling of a lot of interest in that. It looks like he wants to stay at the 160 and just stay there. I don't know, Mario. How did you feel about how did your heart break?
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, the 160, he started out breaking Ness's heart with the whole 168 thing. And I was like thinking more and more about everything we had covered in the last couple of days. And it was like he just shitted all over it. But what was heartbreaking about it was, like he's kind of right. Like the way he put it, like it was one of those things where what he's saying is true. These things are kind of far-fetched. And, it's our job to speculate. But at the same time, like, I kind of was digging what we were all saying about, him moving up and not like an eliminator style or anything like that, but just fighting Benavidez, getting into that mix with Caleb Plant. Like, I don't know. It was a nice thing to say. And then for him to say, like, Andrade might never happen. Or he said never. That last one was just a dagger, bro. Like it was like he was just stabbing you all over, and then he just hit you with that bow and arrow straight through the heart.
Combo breaker.
For real, bro. Really that was a combo breaker indeed.
Really quick, let me just shout out Osiris Boxing from the UK. He asked the same question as Supermex, but Ronnie didn't let us ask the last one, which was Osiris Boxing saying, "What's the holdup for the Charlo versus Andre fight?" Osiris from UK. But luckily you got your answer because you and Supermex think alike. Great minds think alike. Great minds are on Patreon. Shout out to all our Patreons that quickly asked Ronnie Shields a question spontaneously and having that perk for being part of the family. We appreciate you signing up. We are still holding at 310, which is good because remember we had dropped to like 309 a day and a half ago. Then we jumped back up yesterday. So, one at a time. We went to the sponsors. Let's hit up these phone lines. If you're on Blog Talk and you want to voice your opinion, make sure you hit that one button one time. One time. I heard he had a good. Damn, I used to have that better, man. I was all raspy right there. That's that motherfucking
That's
kush.
That smoke right there.
That's
that
kush.
Cookies.
That's that kush, B. You know, it's very like raspy. Let me go out to good morning. Let me go out to King I Mean, man. That intro always gets me in the mood. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Buenos dias to everyone.
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean.
V.
What up, I mean? Good morning. How are you, brother?
Listen, man, I'm great, man. Great show. Listen, it's such a great convenience. Shout out to TBV. Shout out to Patreon. Shout out to everybody that's on. I mean, can you imagine the type of show? I was just telling my family right now, the type of show where you talking about the topic and then the element from the topic, you got access to that camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay attention, everybody. Chris Eubank Jr., he took a lot of crazy chances. I got a lot of respect for him. I like the fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was asking Ronnie who he'd fight. Obviously, Andre ain't in there, but Chris Eubank Jr. took some early chances that wasn't smart. He was trying to jump out there and fight, do all this crazy shit. I mean, from what Ronnie says, what do y'all think? I'm gonna go ahead and dip out. What do y'all think about what Ronnie? I mean, I heard y'all was saying, like, what do y'all think about what he laid out, and what does that say about what y'all think about Charlo? I mean, I already think he's very good. We're not talking great. Just what do you think about his resume? Y'all listed the resume early in the show too, which I think is very strong. But just what do y'all think? I'm out, fellas.
I mean, I'm good with him staying at 160. I understand that there's no need to go to 168 from their standpoint. You know, they're looking at it like we're gonna wait for our opportunity. They have a Chris Eubank fight. You know, they got a plan. So. You don't. I mean, look. I'm gonna end it with this. No one is. It's not mandatory to move up. Does it open opportunities for you? Absolutely.
It rang like a little light bulb went on in my head when he said that. Like, you know, like it's up to Al Heyman's whatever he want to do, and I start to think like. You know, Al Heyman, when he's making these fights, he has to sit there and think, like, because they're both on the PBC side, right? You got Jermall and David Benavidez on the PBC side. So it's like I have all these investments under one umbrella, and I have to move them in a way where I'm not affecting the other investments' future. So it's like some of the times we want these fights to happen, but is it going to make sense within the PBC stable? Is it going to make sense for David Benavidez? Where does David Benavidez go from there if he loses? So it's like a lot of moving parts, you know. And Al Heyman's a businessman. He's been around for a while doing a lot of business. So sometimes I get it. Like I got it when Ronnie said like, yo, I gotta wait. I gotta see what and it's not nothing that he's just kind of like trying not to you know, want to fight these other guys, but you just gotta wait for the business cause, that boxing business, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, it was really you get carried away talking about those kind of matchups a little bit, and especially when a fighter's having a hard time getting the fights that they, I think, deserve. You know, you could say that he doesn't deserve Canelo. I disagree. But at the end of the day, like, you're absolutely right. Like, it's hard to think about it from David Benavidez's point, and then to think about it from the management. Like, we always talk about, we have to think like managers. Like, we have to talk about the, you know, economics of it all. And where are the economics in sacrificing one of these dudes right off the bat? There's no economics in it. That could be a super fight. And, you know, Ness keeps calling it a super fight. He's right. But if these dudes could go through their respective divisions and then meet at some point, like, that would be the best of both worlds. You build both fighters up. That way, when one of them does eventually lose to the other one, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't hurt them as much. So where does David Benavidez go if he loses? That's a great question. You know, it's a question we didn't really pose. So I get where Ronnie's coming from.
Who's a guy in
but Benavidez is young. Get out of here with that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Canelo lost early. You young. You brush it off. You say he's young. Or the announcers say he's young. Your promoter said he was young. Charlo had more experience. You know, like, that's no big deal. We got to get off this losses is a big deal. But let's mix in a call after Do Me Go.
Champ. Oh, yeah, nah. I was pretty much done, bro, on that. I was just, you know, just trying to let the TBV fam know that, you know, sometimes these fights don't happen because the reality is that you got to watch it. Look, he's young. He just got his belt. You know what I'm saying? I got things I want to do with him before I put him in a dangerous fight under my own stable. And then, yeah, we concentrate too much on that O, but at the same time, you know, the O is what makes things more exciting. You know, the matter of losing that O is what makes fights a little bit more exciting sometimes. So I'm just saying, like, is there another guy where Jermall, jumps up to that weight division, fights a guy that maybe is on his way out, or, you know, somebody that doesn't really have much of a plan, you know, per se? Is there another guy besides David Benavidez and Caleb Plant?
At what division?
At 168. At 168. Is there another guy that I could go ahead and throw Jermall in there and not, you know, be on the PBC side or still be on the PBC side, but I'm not risking too much.
Yeah, but I mean, why you moving him up if it don't make money sense? Benavidez, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess it's just too dangerous. But Benavidez, I feel like they could do it on pay-per-view. Why can't? If you could do Mikey, you could do Benavidez. I believe people are sleeping on Benavidez's drawing power. I was there at the Earl fight. He was the co-main, bro. They did it, you know. He's been in Arizona. They've marketed him in the right places, man. He's ready. He's ready. Obviously, maybe I'm wrong. I'm never the promoter. The promoters are actually doing it, and they're going, you know, another sidestep with Yearden to add to the growth. But obviously, they're going the traditional route where it's like you put them in fights and let them look good on the right markets, on the right TV. I'm talking about fast track. If you give Benavidez Charlo, that's a pay-per-view. I mean, to today's standards, that's a pay-per-view. A guy moving up is a pay-per-view. A guy moving up and challenging a serious fighter is a pay-per-view in today's standards. So, you know, why wouldn't this be pay-per-view?
Yo, and it's surprising to me that Ronnie, well, you know, I guess Ronnie's confident in his own fighter, but like it's surprising to me that he thought that, you know, that Jermall is ready for that Canelo picking. You know what I'm saying? Like Canelo could just snatch him up right now because he's a champion and fight him. I still disagreed. I still think that Jermall does need maybe one or two more names on that resume, and you know, it broke my heart that he said Andrade was not going to be one of those guys, and like that's a fantasy fight that a lot of guys ever since that little beef they had on the social media on I think it was Barclays Center that time when they came in through the back and they was talking shit to each other. So it's like, you know, for a fight like that not to happen, that's crazy. That would be a fight that would definitely kind of like get Canelo's attention, because not only has Andrade been calling out his name, also Jermall. So these two guys fight each other, they knock each other off, and then, you know, that's another choice that Canelo can say, you know what, this guy, they beat each other. I mean, one guy beat the other guy, it looked good. You know, it's like I'm beating two guys if I face that one that won from them two. So I was like, I'm like, damn, it's not gonna happen. Like, is it really that bad that it won't happen?
I mean, it's the failed negotiations. I guess some personal lines might have been crossed there. People have egos right now. That's what it sounds like to me. Whenever you can't get something done, you know, someone's feelings were hurt. Stone Bone, talk to me.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, look.
Good morning.
I'm getting to the point where they're not gonna fight. So Charlo and Andrade not gonna fight. So that's just basically two opponents for Canelo. Since he talking about he running out of opponents, them not fighting, that leaves two guys that he needs to fight. How about that? And I like having the coaches on there, man. They give you a perspective. You could tell that. That's why I asked would he train Charlo again. I didn't want him to. I knew he was gonna probably feel some kind of way, not towards the question, but towards the situation, because the things we heard in the background, and it just don't seem likely. And the words he didn't say pretty much sums up what the world think of the two brothers, the difference between the two. One of them, it seems you can talk to, and the other one is just he think he know everything, and he think he know he can beat Bud, and he probably about to lose that fight. So, Ness, let's keep talking about that fight. Get Bomac on here, see what he got to say.
Yo, you got to help me with that team, man. I reached out to Bomac, man. When we first did the show, it would have been perfect to have him on when Bob was on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, I'm going to have Bob on, you know? And, you know, he didn't hit me back. So, I mean, I can't force it.
Yeah. Well, when the stories line up again, I'm going to make sure that, you know what I mean, when he in that mix, I'm going to make sure of that, because I want to hear. I ain't never asked him about that fight, but I want to hear what he got to say, man. But it will be a good feat, man.
That's who we need on here for real, because if he hear guys like Ronnie saying, you know, that it's 60-40 Jermall, you know, we might get that fight, because they love challenges, the Crawfords do. So we'll see, man. But look, thanks for calling in. We going out too. Stainless in the D. What it do? Yo, that's that dyslexia. I see a S. I think it's stainless.
Red belt, black belt, WO and green. I'm king. Undisputed GOAT, TBE. And you can catch the news first on TBV. Voice of the people now let me speak. Scientists of the sweet, BOXING.
Yo, TBV. What's good, though?
Good morning.
You already know.
Yo, I had to switch over. I was on that Hell's OG. That shit was too strong, man. I had to get on this Supermax. Yo, man. I don't always like interviews, I'm gonna be honest, but when they like sometimes you get caught by them good interviews and sometimes they right on point with what the subject is. And today was a perfect example of that, man. You know, and it was impromptu, and we still got to ask some questions. So, shouts out to y'all for that, man. TBV is doing things that everybody want, but ain't nobody else doing. So, congratulations on staying at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Y'all fellas always doing that. That's why I stick with this show. There's a lot of competition out there, but they ain't got that substance. So, keep trying, man. I ain't got nothing to say, man. Y'all cats did it, man. Get Stonebone my boomerang, because he sound like he know what he's talking about. And all I know is I'm off and I'm smoking kush. So I'm going to enjoy my day on that. As I always say, please make sure you push the thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast. It's TBB for life. And if you ain't on Patreon, it's because you stupid. And shout out to El Camino. Hey, one question, though. Did we already decide the fight for tonight?
Yeah, it looks like Bradley Pavatnikov. We just got to find a link, man. So definitely help out with that. But before the show is over, remind me and we'll do a double tally. But last I checked, Stonebone, you know, my nominee for Caller of the Year, you know, picked Bradley Pavatnikov, and they got 7 votes. I just want you guys to know, too, that that's the most voted fight that we've ever done. You know, other fights have only won with 4 to 5 being the most number of votes. So again, just showing how influential Stonebone Boxing is, that he picked a fight that garnered that much more attention than any other fight in terms of the voting process. So I don't know, man. You know, you guys got to do a good job when you want to be Callers of the Year. I did see CYP say, how the hell are Stonebone and Brandon Caller of the Year when CYP's the Caller of the Year 2019 without a doubt, according to him. So self-proclaimed Caller of the Year, CYP says he belongs in the runnings for that as well. So, you know, we'll definitely do an official voting system once boxing is back and we're able to congregate, you know, and meet up with each other. Then we'll pick a fight because there's going to be great ones coming. And we'll do a TBV Appreciation Night. We'll go through the voting process and we'll get true, legitimate Callers of the Years, Rookies of the Years, every other vote that we've done. And we're going to do trainers. You know, we've always done trainer. Virgil's won in 1 year. You know, and I think a guy like Ronnie, who never, ever, ever says no for us, should be our vote for Trainer of the Year, at least nominee, you know, because we do have a lot of, you know, Robert never says no. Robert Garcia never says no. Who else never says no off the top? I don't know. Freddie Roach came this year. That was pretty cool. We actually need to get Elvis Rodriguez on. Little Birdie told me that it was like, yo, how the hell is Maurice Lee going to fight Earl Spence when Elvis Rodriguez, the Dominican, who's 5-0 or probably 6-0 now with Freddie Roach,
6-0, yeah,
basically did some stuff that I can't mention, but we could get them to mention if it's true. We gotta get them on the show and ask the right questions, you know. Just kind of stumble on that Elvis Martinez, I mean that Maurice Lee sparring conversation, you know, and see what he says.
Yo, DR, I know you a proud Dominican, dog. DR is starting
stepping it up. We stepping it up. Listen, and Javier has the opportunity.
Little bit.
Javier has the opportunity. Oh man, Killer Kales, you too late, champion. He said he just got his question in. Listen, man, Javier has the opportunity to step it up right here, bro. He's never been a world champion, right? Well, he was like a WBA regular, maybe. Double check on that. I'm gonna go to more callers. We stopped at Stone Bone. We went to Stainless. Bomb Boxing, Arizona. What up?
You are on live.
Bomb Boxing, just listening, going once. Oh, there you go.
Nah, I'm here. Yo, what's up, fellas?
What up, what up?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing the show, man. You know, I'm up bright and early out here in Phoenix listening to y'all, man. I appreciate the off-the-top interview like that, man, with the topic. That's legendary status. Y'all doing the damn thing. As far as the topic go, Eubanks, man, I watched his last fight with Korobov, man, and he was getting wrecked until Korobov hurt himself. So I don't see him doing nothing against Charlo. Maybe in the beginning looking okay, but if Charlo walks him into some punches the way he comes forward, it's going to be done quick. But yeah, man, I just want to say I appreciate y'all. That's my little 2 cents on the matter. I'm gonna get my ass back to work, man.
Bless.
Bomb Boxing, man, thanks for calling in as always and choosing us to listen to during you guys' work process, man. We definitely enjoy you guys rocking out with us without a doubt. You know, if you're catching this 7 to 10 days later on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. It still helps with the visibility of the show. We still appreciate your comments in the comment section. You know, I'm reading them every morning when I get up for the morning coffee. So, yeah, man. And if you can, make your way over to Patreon to enjoy not only live streams, all our live shows, be part of the Patreon family that get, to witness these shows live in the actual, real time. Also, rid yourself of annoying interruptions while listening and consuming to the, podcast, whether that be on YouTube or podcast form on iTunes or Stitcher or, Spreaker. All those places have ads. You can get that audio ad-free right here on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. So join us here and get some perks. Let me go out to Keem in Florida. What's going on?
El gran campeón puertorriqueño, this is Davis, Chico Trinidad.
You got any excuses tonight, Roy? Let's not ask questions like that. Let's touch gloves and go to work. Tonight, Roy. Let's go to work.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Buenos dias.
What's up? Good morning, y'all. What up? Good show, man. Good interview. I love when the interviews are actually on topic, like what the show is about. That's always the best, man. I wish it could be like that all the time. I know it's show business, man, so you can't always get it like that. But those are the best, man. When you're talking about something, you're actually able to get somebody from that camp or, within that topic on the show to speak to them, man. Those are the best interviews to me. So it's a good interview, good show. As far as the Eubank Charlo fight, man, I think I got Charlo winning that one. I don't. Eubank to me, man, like when he fought Groves, Groves beat him pretty easily. I thought he just kept him at bay with the jab. Eubank is a little wild. Yeah, he's strong and he's athletic, but he's really wild and just not that great of a boxer. So I think Charlo will run through him. But yeah, that's it, man. Good show, good interview.
Chill. Damn, man, Brandon, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Somebody going to his barber house. How many people has your barber allowed to go to his house, man? Be careful, champion. Be careful.
Yo, bring your own machine.
Rid ourselves from vanity. Rid ourselves from vanity, and we will be okay, man. Let's move on out to New Orleans.
Yo, Wolfgang out here.
Hoping you staying safe, J-Mac. Brandon out here wilding.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style. I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Derek.
It can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet?
You bet 100,000 on that.
Let's bet $1 million.
Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we
sir.
hear you, champ.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. Brandon, I do it too. I just took a week off last week because I just kept going. But I've been going to my barber house to get my hair cut. So just make sure y'all, mask it up and sanitize. That's all you can do. Call of the year, my vote goes to Brandon. Stone Smooch. I'm calling him Stone Smooch SS because it seems like since y'all been nut hugging, he been riding and stuff like that. I know he ain't got another car, he gonna have to pay that $5 to get to defend himself. But I'm calling him Stone Kiss Ass Nest. Um, a great interview. I wanted to ask Ronnie about. I'm gonna use both. No, I'm gonna use one right now because I might have to defend myself later too. I wanted to ask Ronnie about Andrade. I really like Charlo, but man, I can't get with that pushing Andrade shit away, man. I'm sorry, they might have had bad blood, but we all know that sells in boxing. You interviewed Charlo in Mexico, and he was pushing the shit away, man. That's ducking in my eyes.
I agree, but it is also how you raise the price. It's how you raise the price. So by saying you ain't never gonna give us that fight, they might make that the fight, And look, we seen Eddie. I seen Eddie. Y'all all seen Eddie jump on the Charlo. He's like, "What about Andre?" You know what I mean? Laughing with a big old smile. So look, they already offered him what, $7 or $8 million for that Andre fight, and he's still saying no. So what's gonna happen next, J Mac? They're gonna raise that price, man. They're gonna raise that price. We're going out to Jay in Orlando. Not Orlando. Jay in Colorado. Yo, I'm really out of control.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Can you hear me?
Yes. What up? Morning.
Yo, that Ronnie interview was good. I'm glad we got him on because we was just going so far into it. We just needed somebody to bring us back down to level type shit, so he can be like, fighters just be woofing. Because I was thinking the same thing we was talking about. Like fighters just be talking. He's not gonna say, "Oh, I wouldn't fight Benavidez." He's gonna say, "I'll go up to 168 and fight him." But I think sooner or later, he gonna reign at 160 for a little bit, but sooner or later he's gonna have to go to 168 because that's where all the action's gonna be. You feel me? And with that Eubanks fight, if that Eubank fight comes to fruition, it's gonna be like how I feel like they're gonna prepare for it, how they prepare for Julian Williams with that uppercut, because he can catch Eubanks coming in easily with that uppercut. How wild he is, and with that Andre fight, I don't think that's ever gonna happen just because of the personal shit. You feel me? Like they took it so far personal. I just feel like they don't want to make a name off each other. They don't want the other one to be like, "All right."
Totally agree.
They talk too much shit. Now they scared.
No, but it ain't not they. Charlos feel that way. Andre still wants to fight. Andre still calls him out. It's the Charlos that feel like, he's crossed the line. I'm not giving him a payday. I'm not giving him a big fight. Fuck him. We don't need him. That's how they looking at it. So yeah.
Yo, real quick for us in New Jersey.
Oh shit, Izzy, put this in the Patreon chat, please. He said got the HBO license fee for. Oh, that's gonna be amazing to watch the actual HBO fight for tonight. Cause it looks like
awesome.
It looks like my nominee for Caller of the Year, Stone Bone Boxing from Colorado, that is nothing like Jadakiss and more like Jay-Z, that sticks to the topic, gives you nothing but quality 16 bars when he's, giving you his boxing analysis. Recommended on Film Study Tuesday's post, which fight to watch and rescore, Bradley Pavatnikov. And I just want to reiterate that my Caller of the Year nominee in Stone Bone Boxing from Colorado is the first one to break the record of Film Study Tuesday. No one's ever gotten 7 votes. I'm sure if I go, it might have more at this point, but last I checked, it was 7 votes. We've never done a fight that got 7 votes. And look, I haven't even hit it yet, so I could easily make it 8 just to make it more difficult for those people trying to, because there's always someone behind you trying to take your spot, Stone Bone.
Yo, that's one hell of a fight, though. That's one hell of a fight
it wasn't
to do the film study.
It wasn't my recommendation. It was, I was a big Bradley fan. He was a huge fan of the show. We had him on here lots of times, and that fight, it really, I don't like what Earl is doing, and that's what Bradley did. I don't like that you change your style to suit your opponent. Like the smart,
what he did with Porter.
The smart fight is the fight that you hit and not get hit, not let's make it a dog fight because you're a dog fighter. Like, Provodnikov, Algieri beat Provodnikov. I know people debate that, and Algieri didn't look like the winner because of the eye, but if you watch that fight, Algieri beat Provodnikov, in my opinion. Obviously, that could be debated. Now, that being said, there's no way that Bradley, who's levels above Algieri, should have gotten hit as much as he did. He did that because it was a time that you had to live through. It was a time where Bradley, had a stigma for being a headbutt abuser. He got a lot of.
That was fight of the year. That was fight of the year.
It was fight of the year. Yeah.
Because that's the problem with boxing. You have to fight like a dummy rockin' sock'em robot to get fight of the year. Fight of the year isn't I beat the shit out of you without you touching me. It's got to be we both lost brain cells in the ring. Get the fuck out of here.
What do you want fight of the year to be?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I
covered that fight.
Like, that's crazy.
I covered that fight so well. I was at the Boxing Writers Association Award year that year, and I interviewed Bradley on the red carpet. Bro, he was slurring. Go check my interview. He'll tell you, bro, I had a concussion. I'm here to see the doctors in New York. My man is from Palm Springs, fucking Las Vegas or Nevada or wherever the fuck he's from. And he's coming to New York for the best specialist. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason. So fight of the year, fuck.
You know what happened? I
fighters
think he got taken into that fight. I think that you just go at it.
Styles make fights at the end of the day. That's not to say that.
Life. No, guys, let me remind you.
No, that's not to say that he. I mean, you got to understand that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It was a time where he was headbutting, and he had a style for boring fights, and Alexander had happened. I get all that.
No, more than that. More than that. More than that. You're forgetting one pivotal, key, huge element. He had to win over Pacquiao, and people hated him. Check the resume. Provodnikov was after Pacquiao win. So he tried to give back to the fans because people were sending him death threats. So he's like, fuck it. How do I shake the world hating that I got this robbery win? I'm telling you, look for the information. It's out there.
First of all, I get what you're saying. I mean, well, number one, it's all speculation at the end of the day. Like, we don't know what possessed him to do what. But you're right. Those are all the things that stack up, and he wanted to give a good performance, I'm sure. But styles make fights. Like, at the end of the day, you can't say, oh, this guy's level above this guy and he's level above him, so that means he would beat him like this. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes two guys just come together and make a really explosive night, make a really fun night. Montiel wasn't supposed to get knocked out the way he did, but he got knocked out like a motherfucker against Donaire. And you know what I mean? So it just, you never know what's going to happen.
Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti. Like,
perfect
match. They always made it a fight. I'm pretty sure Bradley would have gotten in there again with Provodnikov. The same shit would have happened. You got these dance partners sometimes in the ring that you just like, fuck it. And maybe Bradley said, you know what? Who the fuck is Ruslan? I could get in there and fucking work him out. I'm the better fighter. I'm the prize. So it's like, yo, egos sometimes take control, and shit like this happens.
It takes two people to make fights like that. Provodnikov had to actually try to win that fight. You know what I mean? Like, you see so many times where a guy falls behind 4-0 and they're done. Tonight. They're mentally out of the fight.
We're gonna find out tonight. That's for sure. Let me pull that up. Let me see. For April 20th, right? We're on the 28th. Yep, this is it. Let's pull it up.
That was March, right? Fight was in March.
No. I'm talking about the votes. The votes. Yeah, so right now, Stonebone still in the lead with 7 votes. And,
runner-up?
And a comment. Israel Weber says, great fight. Then, let me see. Oh, shit. Runner-up came close. Bernard Hopkins, Joe Kawasaki. Shout out to Killer Kells, a mastermind who recommended that.
I like that.
That wasn't that high the other day. Wow. I would have still broke it down for my man Stonebone. I would have just boom hit because you see I haven't touched it. I haven't. I'm not screen sharing, but yeah, I haven't hearted any up. I let you guys decide. So let's see. Who else came? Roy Jones Jr. versus Tarver 1. Didn't we just watch that?
Yeah, we did that one. Yo, what's up?
Oh shit! Look, this one got 6. Wow. Look at but he still lost to Stonebone. He got 6 recommendations for his vote though. Lomachenko versus Salido, and that is none other than Brandon in Cincinnati. Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay, Brandon. But you still on the shirt tails though. You still on the shirt tails. As long as you're behind, it's behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, am I tripping or does Hagler Hearn have 9?
Where you see Hagler Hearn at? Did I not get to it yet?
I mean Leonard Hagler. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's Loma Gary Russell.
You got to be on April 20th post. Remember, we're a week behind. We picked the first week when we started. So we're
Okay, so we're a week behind. Okay, so that was Sunday the 11th, 11 p.m.
April 20th.
So yeah, I'm
April
behind.
20th.
Okay, April 20th. My bad.
Yeah, that might be next week's. What day is that? The post is on the day.
That was on Sunday.
Oh yeah, so that'll be next week. That we'll watch that next Tuesday. Looks like.
Okay.
Let me see who else is up here. Anybody else got big numbers? Big numbers? Nah.
Loma.
Salido was the only one that came very close. Well, actually, that's a two-way tie with Bernard Calzaghe. So Killer Kells, you know, who is a mastermind, recommended Bernard Calzaghe with 6 votes. Brandon, nominee of Caller of the Year, has 6 votes on Lomachenko Salido. But it looks like the winner is going to be Stone Bone with Bradley, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I just voted for it too. Now it's got 8 votes.
Yo, that's an entertaining fight. And it's a good fight to rewatch. It really is. Like, we could go back and really break down the points and who was scoring the better shots. I like this fight.
You voted, so I'm a vote, bruh. Bam, we made him 9 just in case.
Damn.
Because it was a little too close to Brandon with that 6-7, and I ain't want Brandon to start trying to use that as a talking point, so we had to separate real quick. You know what I mean? That's Canelo style. Separate. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Brandon's campaign manager? Yo, Brandon, you got your campaign manager got to get on the ball.
Izzy is his campaign manager. You're gonna hear his call, and he's gonna try and talk about him. But listen. At the end of the day, you can sign to Joe DeGuardia and Banner Promotions with Artie Palulo, or you could be under Eddie and truly get promoted and have a speaker with Bob Arum, a dude that promotes you, take care of you, knows how to build people, PBC, a guy that sets you up, not only with just paychecks, but financial advisors. All PBC fighters look like they're doing fantastic. I mean, Peter Quillen, say what you want. He's living that life right now. And once again, I recommend, if you haven't caught our episode of Untitled yesterday, obviously you're rocking out with us. You're here on Patreon right now. So you obviously caught it or got the notification, both of video format and MP3, no ads whatsoever. Don't forget the video also has no ads. But that being said, if you haven't caught that, do so. We talked about a lot of stuff there. And definitely some boxing as well. But out of all type of topics that were brought to us from our patrons. Now, we're going to get back to these callers. Just wanted to let you know we will be doing Bradley Pavatnikov. Shout out to Israel Weber for finding us the link. We went to Jay in Colorado. We're actually going to go to Israel. What up, Iz? How you doing?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
All right.
Oh, wow.
Hey, y'all don't want to watch that Calzaghe B-Hop fight, man. I didn't advise Brandon on that. I must admit, but I did talk to my doctor yesterday. He told me that certain people are immune to the COVID, and he said callers of the year are immune. So Brandon, go get that fade, man. You're good. And I like the Bradley fight better. That's Calzaghe. Hopkins was a sleeper, dude. Joe Cortez, the referee, was the star of that fight. If you want to rewatch, but y'all have a good day.
Yeah,
I remember that now. Damn, that's a good call. 678's James Benitez, by the way, Ness. I don't know if it's saved or not.
James, what up, champ?
Yo, what's going on, fellas, man? How y'all guys doing?
All good, brother. And yourself?
Blessed.
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I don't know what the idiots are thinking, man, trying to actually go to these barbers at home and whatnot. I just spent about $100 on stuff from Amazon just to get some barber equipment to the house. So I'm just going to cut my own hair, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But other than that, man, great interviews, man. Oh yeah, man. Look, man. I'll send you a picture of the last fade I did myself, man. So you can see it on Twitter, man. So and you can shame it if you want to, man. It's all good. But long story short, man, great interview, man. We appreciate the content as always, man. Whoever said Stoneball was nut hooking or whatever, man. They just disrespectful that they just can't that they're just not as knowledgeable as Stonebone boxing. So shout out to Stonebone, shout out to you guys as well, man. Keep on putting the great work, man. And again, man, y'all guys stay safe in these times.
All right, James Benitez, man, thanks for calling in. And let me tell you, man, yesterday on Untitled, they said, damn, you guys, you could get the clippers from Walmart. And I'm like, I was tight because I'm like, one, my shit is shaped up. I got nothing under the neck. My beard is lined up. My mustache is right.
I'm Wolfgang, brother.
It's just you see me with mad hair, but at the same time, bro, I've been getting my Caesar since Jay-Z said, like, when I crop to a Caesar, mine don't lead you. Or the money-making Caesar. Like, Jay always had lines with Caesar that I just went Caesar a long time ago. Then I liked the skin-tight ball fade, and it became part of me for the better of, like, 15 straight. I've never had my hair this long in like 15 years. So, I'm kind of feeling COVID. Like, yo, look at the kid back with the curls in the hair.
Yo, real quick, man, because it's about to happen for all my New Jersey brothers and sisters. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels and the Air Force's Thunderbirds will give a loud salute, for all the health workers and others that being on the front line fighting the corona, here in Jersey. The flyovers are going to start in New York, New Jersey, and then on to Pennsylvania. It's going to start at noon at 12 o'clock in Newark, then New Jersey, then New York for about 35 minutes. And, the demonstration squadrons will head to Tran at the end. So, if you want to catch some pretty cool aircrafts flying by, look to the sky. If you near Newark, you'll get to see them, I guess, a little bit better. Just a tribute. And, Jersey strong, man. We stick together.
That's what's up. That's dope. I like going to see the Blue Angels.
J-Mac, are you talking to me or to the chat? Text me if it's to me. We're going to who's up next? California's Info Joe.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Morning, TBV family. What up, my boxing brothers?
Joe, what up?
Hey, man, we alive today, man. Everybody should be happy about that, if nothing else. Yo, hey, man, great interview, man. Shout out to Ronnie Shields, man. That's my guy, one of my favorite trainers, man. But he just sucked all of the air out of the room, man.
He hurt everybody's feelings with the truth.
Man.
Or his version of it.
Word. Damn, I don't know where to start, man. Hey, evidently, man, Charlo was thinking like we were, man. For him to mention him going up to fight Benavidez. But for Ronnie to say no to Benavidez, no to Andrade, and most likely he ain't going to get the Jacob fight unless he signs the a one-fight deal with Dazn. Man, after the Eubank fight, what do he have left, really? You know what I'm saying? And I want to see the guy shine. But he needs to, I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words, man. Damn, Ronnie.
Cut it. We going out to quick counterpunch from J-Mac, New Orleans.
Yeah. Yo, can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
I was trying to get close the door, man. I was trying to get to the last caller before you got info on. Tell him, to the idiot, if he want to play makeup shop and beauty shop, let him cut his own goddamn hair. Some people got different things they got going on, and long as your barber practicing safe habits and stuff like that, keeping it cleansed, you gotta take a chance. Every day we walk around here, we taking chances. I didn't appreciate the idiot comment. and stuff like that. He keep that shit to himself. And for the nut hugging comment and stuff like that, if he want kiss ass on this show, let him continue calling in and kissing ass. That's for Jay Menas, whatever his name was.
Benitez.
Whoever the fuck his name is. He heard me.
Yo, so damn, I guess I gotta hit rewind when there's the ability to hit rewind. I didn't hear Benitez call you guys or you an idiot. I didn't hear that. So I would have to check that out. But we got Trey in the Bay. Trey in the Bay. Are you just listening? Nope. What'd you say?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, the interview with Ronnie Shields was good. I'm with Joe. Crushed everybody's dreams. He came in here dream killing. And also I wanted to say about Charlo, you were saying a lot about him making himself available for Canelo and doing this and doing that to get visible. But I could have sworn the last time I checked, if you become somebody's mandatory, y'all usually fight. So I mean that was one way to make
Devin Haney that.
That's the same thing, man. These motherfuckers making rules up as they go. They creating new shit, creating new titles every which way. You always talk about what is it, the WBA having too many belts and getting motherfuckers out of here and checking attention. I mean, it's starting.
Cut it. I'm with you, but I'm sure you played spades. You can't cry with the hand that was dealt to you. That's just it. You sat down to play. That's the hand that was dealt. You must find a way to win. Simplest metaphor I can use. You do have a boomerang if you're ready to use it. I'm going to go to J-Mac on his boomerang, actually. Actually, let me go to Stainless since we just went to J-Mac. Give it a little J-Mac a time to get some more thoughts in order. Stainless, boomerang, holla at us.
Yeah, like I said, man, I'm too hot, bro. Just give it away. Info or Stonebone, one of them two.
Come on, man. You got to give me one. I can't make. How I'm gonna make that call?
Give it to Info, man. He brought that light back after Ronnie Shields kind of eclipsed us right quick. Give it to Info. I like his energy.
Info Joe, what do you know?
Yo, what up, champs?
What up?
Hey. Yo.
Yep, we hear you.
That's Jay. Oh, okay. No, damn, man. He needed to. I don't see no other alternative, man. I hope that he can get the negotiate with Dazn, man. He need that marquee name and to push him over that hump at 160. He did good at 154, but at 160, man, it's dry on the PBC side, man. So I like the Benavidez fight. Good style matchup. Hold up. Let me chime in on the caller of the year, man. Brandon, man, for the last year, when we were making predictions on Thursday, my guy had a high percentage of getting his picks right, man. And he breaks down the fight to a T, and he tries to cut it right down the middle on prediction and on all the topics. So that's my guy, caller of the year.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Ohio's finest, Cincinnati's in the house. I'm rooting for Brandon. That's all I got, fam. Peace.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Yo, why is so many people jogging up and down my street, bro? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Seeing people jogging and
season,
shit.
Man.
Nah, everybody trying to get out this COVID lockdown, man. The parks is closed over here. They treating us crazy over here, man. Parks are closed and everything. J-Mac, boomerang, holla.
Hey, close that door, Jay. My bad info. I thought I was muted. But like I did like the interview. I caught the end of the show. I caught Ronnie Shields. He always does a great job. Like I'm with Info, man. They want the good fights, but he's saying they ain't fighting all the good fights. That makes no fucking sense. We've been on this show bashing. Well, y'all been bashing Bub about being on the wrong side. It sounds like Jermall is on the wrong side. I mean, if he got the opportunity to cross promote or step on that side and stuff like that, I mean, what are you gonna keep staying staying in house and playing it safe. He got to step out and make these fights. And for him to be talking about not fighting a fighter like Andrade, it just is sickening at this time. And anybody talking about, oh, they got personal issues, man. We not boxing fans. We don't care about their bitch fits with one another. We care about the two best fighters getting in the ring, and Andrade being the top fighter at 154.
Yo, man, it would be good if you just like started to try to live in the reality that you live in. Like by saying nobody care about their bitch fits, I get it. You don't care, but what reality do you live in? Isn't the reality that you live in that those things do matter and stop fights? Didn't Riddick Bowe never fight Lennox Lewis? Like bad blood is a real thing, bro. Like, to assume that it's a bitch fit and it doesn't matter. It matters, bro. Negotiations matter. Listen, Miguel Cotto, right, was weight drained in the catch weight versus Pacquiao. He complained. If you lived through that time, I mean, you seen all the videos and interviews and all the quotes of how he complained, like, oh, they sucked me down. They sucked me down. That's why when Floyd fought him, Floyd's campaign was like, I'm fighting him at his real weight. You know what I mean? I ain't sucking him down. That's how Floyd, promoted that fight, because Cotto was always vocal about, Pacquiao draining him. But what happened? When he became the A side, he did a catch weight. Not only with Sergio Martinez, but also made Canelo come down. So it's like, when you're on the other side, you talk a certain way until you get on the other side. Then you talk a certain way, man. So it's funny. We got Trey in the Bay. I'm going to give you some time. Let me go out to Lidslow in Decatur, Georgia. What up?
Hey, man. What cracking lagging, fellas? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Baldy. You know what I mean? As far as the fight, Charlo and Eubank, I'm down for. It's a good fight. People feel how they feel, man. That's why you got the show, so people can express that shit. But I dig it. Interview, good shit. I ain't gonna lie. Shields was at first kind of making. I'm gonna say this to you too. This is just a little theory of mine we could try out. If you could get some more PBC coaches on here, because it seemed like everything Shields said is all up to fucking Al Heyman. And I know we ain't gonna talk to old Al. So it make it now. He just really put a big red finger on Al ass. So you to hold up, and I know Al the money man. He know what selling, what don't. Fine. Mario, one quick question: did you ever find out some more information about Earl Spence not being himself still since the car crash?
Not since my friend told me that it was all horseshit. Like, he told me that everybody he knows and talks to and the times he's seen Earl, cool like thing, that he looks good. I don't know where all these other people got that from. And even Adrian Clark told us, and he's close to him.
We got a super chat from James Benitez that says, petty ass. Hold up. Oh. My bad. Yo, he said, petty ass. I said disrespectful to life over risk. Or disrespectful life over risk. One of the two. But yeah, he didn't say idiot. But that's what happens. J-Mac always makes that mistake, bro. He don't listen, man. He don't listen. He just be sitting there waiting to pounce. You know what I'm saying? That's it. He like
waiting for somebody to say a syllable in his name. If you say Jibba and then
now he about to come at you. Oh, Mario, if your ass want to get involved in this shit, motherfucker, you can get it too, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck with your little ass Iron Sheik beard. And it's like, that's what he gonna tell you.
That was a good impression.
No, why he's so angry in the morning, I have no fucking clue. Up there he goes. He wants a counterpunch, fellas.
Yo, ain't nothing petty about me. Ain't nothing petty about me. Before we get the name calling, and I called the little bitch out his fucking name, since we won't go there. If we rewind the tape, he said idiots, and I'm calling him out on what he said. If you're a little bitch and he can't man up on what he said or be held accountable for what he said, watch what he say. because they got certain people on here that would address his ass or check his ass about the shit he said. The little clown ass, bitch ass nigga said it. That's my call.
Damn, all the
That
profanity.
is aggressive.
I'm telling you, bro.
Oh.
It's like, yo. But you said it, and he tried
But
to
you
kill.
know, but
Look.
here's
You
the thing,
said,
though. No, no.
look, you said that was his attitude. He was like, Mario, what you say? How you gonna say I'm like? And look,
I feel you. At the same time, I'm not gonna lie. I did believe him when he said it because I didn't hear idiot, but I did not. I know this sounds stupid, but I did not hear idiot. Like I kind of think he might be right because he said something about it, but I just don't remember what exactly he said.
Benitez says he didn't say it, so somebody gonna have to get the
so
audio.
One of them, I don't know. There was a misunderstanding.
Somebody got to get the
all good.
audio. Somebody got to get the audio. That's the only way we're gonna know. We're going out to Juan in the BX. Juan, what up?
One by itself, my fault.
All right. We go on to Trey in the Bay. Boomerang.
Let me know if my background too loud. Man. Can you hear all that shit going on in the background?
We can't hear that, but you are going in and out. Your service. Yeah, you breaking up, Trey. We do not hear you at all. We're going to try you one last time in a minute. We're going to go out to Getty Harlem. What up?
Yo, come back to me, Ness.
Nobody else to go to, baby. You were the last caller, man. Last of the Mohicans.
It's that, man. It's like that. I bet, man. Pardon me because, I was here having a good conversation with the good queen, But basically, man, I want to see Charlo, man, do his thing, man. I'm looking for legacy. When I came on board with boxing, man, I wanted to see Charlo. So I like what Ronnie Shields said. I didn't get a chance to fully hear his answer from me because I was on a conference call. But I'm just on a playback, man. So everybody take it easy too, man. My man Mario, man, hold it down, man. Hold your ground.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. That's it. That's everybody, man. I want to thank everybody that tuned in.
Yo, planes are passing by.
It's funny you say planes are passing by because there's no planes leaving out our airport.
No, bro. The Blue Angels are passing by. I missed it. Damn,
champ. You missed it.
I just heard the sonic boom right now.
Yo, if you want to hear my thoughts on the planes passing by, check us out on Untitled. We did that yesterday, and we gave an in-depth review on the planes passing by. Obviously, Doomy is excited. I feel totally different. I won't give that opinion once again, but I have a very different opinion to smiling out the window at planes flying.
Yo, we need to get another Untitled because, I found all these like home workout stuff. And I just want to show y'all, so we can laugh at it. It's the stupidest shit. Yo, these people are, up in the prices of those dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells. Yo, they were, $300 to $600, and now they're, $800 to $1,200. I even saw one that's, $15. I swear to God. The Bowflex ones, $1,500 right now
is that they
on
know
Amazon.
Everybody's home. They know everybody's home.
Yeah, and they're jacking the price up. It's bullshit. But I was looking at other stuff. Yo, we gotta have an Untitled. Y'all would laugh looking at some of this stuff that they got out there, for home gym shit.
I would love to do some videos, review videos. We just got to figure out the audio. The audios for those videos usually come in very high. If I don't have the video the way you sent it to me, separately, I can't control the audio, and it's too hot in my opinion. Let me go out to Boomerang in Atlanta.
Hell no. He mad because I get the better fights. He mad because they still like me more. He mad because I got better numbers. He mad because he can't beat Keith Thurman. That's why he mad. Hell no.
So once when I get on that stage and I come at you, better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
What's good? What's good?
What up, champ?
And sound like I miss Ronnie Shields saying some crazy stuff. I miss pretty much most of the show.
Yeah. Good interview with Ronnie.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and check it out. But shoot, man, I was just calling in, man. Let J Mac have my boomerang.
Uh-oh. Bring the pain. Here come the pain. Somebody clip that sound bite. J Mac. J Mac. Free Boomerang.
Yo.
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 Yeah, like I was saying, man, I only called a clown out on what he said. Niggas say shit on here. I don't give a fuck.
Whoa,
I'm gonna be held.
champ. Calm
I'm
down.
gonna be held accountable for what I say, and anybody want to call me out on it, it's easy to just say what you gotta say, and we can talk and stuff like that. We can change contact information, but the clown said it, and I'm holding him accountable to what he said because I feel like he's over opinionated about something he choose to do. Everybody got a different situation. Everybody got kids in here. Yeah, I mean that's just some people lifestyles that you got to take chances on. And he made a comment about it. Now he's switching up his words. So I called him out on it, and I felt like he said it. If he not man enough to admit that he said it, oh well, he a clown ass, and he could take it how he want to take it.
Well,
that's my call. Like I say, man.
He just sent you his number, man. Enough said, and that is your time. But he just sent you his number on Skype. You guys are on Skype. Yeah, that is that, man. But you guys need to refrain from the profanity, man. Jesus. Like, it's like curse word at the curse word at the curse word.
Hostile territory.
Yeah, fam. Like, damn.
Yeah,
Yo,
but you know, it comes with the
GTO,
territory
man.
with J Mac because, like, at the same time, he also gives us that beach twirl shot sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Pumps up the audience and gets us going.
But we trying to grow, man. We trying to grow.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I mean, the show that Dan Rayfield got, we were supposed to get. So, maybe if we clean up our act, we can probably get some of these acts. You know what I mean? And, look, no one in no form of show business allows that many consecutive curses. Like, even television has dumbed it down a little bit and allowed certain sitcoms and, series to say certain things, but you don't see, like, a fucking sentence machine gun status of profanity. So just help us ourselves, We're just trying to grow. We're just trying to get in where we can fit in. And, we've been having conversations with networks, and that was one of those conversations. They go back and listen. So just help ourselves to continue to grow is all I'm saying. But yeah. All right, so I'll answer that live. J-Mac has a Patreon question about how do you listen to the playback. Just go to the posts on Patreon. The same way you drop a question like on the Ask Ronnie Shields, you'll see this actual topic. So you could see it in video and, about 5 to 20 minutes later after the show is done, you'll see it on MP3 form if you want to listen to it on your iPod, iTunes, iHeart, all that. It's going to be not in all those locations. For Patreons, you get it right there, but you could listen to it on your podcast app, and it'll be no ads. That being said, NestGTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Pavatnikov. I think it was at 140 pounds at that time, and it was a fantastic fight that will be Film Study Tuesday tonight. And, man, our consistency we've been on. I mean, what is this, the 8th straight? Am I right or am I wrong? There's too many? Did I give ourselves?
I think it's going to be the 6th straight.
Did I pat the back too hard?
Yo, we in it for the 12 rounds. It's all good. It's all good. Tonight we'll be reviewing this fight with Russian Ruski going.
Hold on, we got JT. Did not see him there, or he just jumped on, going out to JT New Orleans.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. That was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. We're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'm killing this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yo, what's going on?
What up?
Chilling.
I just hopped on, man. My brother was going off on somebody. What was the topic about Ronnie Shields or something like that?
Nah, we had him on the show.
Okay, what was the questions being asked? I mean, about Canelo, Jermall Charlo fighting Canelo again?
Jermall Charlo versus Chris Eubank is what we talked about in the beginning, and then we just, transitioned over to a couple of those type of questions. But, Chris Eubank and Jermall was the beginning of it.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. I think that's a good fight. Jermall Charlo still haven't fought nobody yet. I'm just saying, man. I'm not giving no credit to fucking Canelo, but what I'm saying is, like, Jermall Charlo hasn't fought any top competition yet. We still trying to see what does he have and stuff like that at the top level. But he do want to fight the top people, so I don't want that to be misconstrued that he's ducking certain fighters and stuff. But
that is definitely misconstrued on my part, bro. I can't even believe you said that. That shit sound crazy, man. How you gonna say Jermall hasn't fought any top fight? Like, he said he ain't fought nobody too. He said the same thing Eubank said. Like, you are insane, bro. You bugging. How you gonna say that? How is Julian Williams, who was a unified champion after Jermall beat him? That just shows how good Julian is. After losing, still was able to be the first man to beat Jarrett Hurd and become unified. So I guess unified only matters for certain fighters. When they unify, they get the prestige of it. Not everyone who unifies gets the same credit. And what about Austin Trout? How you gonna say what is he? 5 years ago when fucking Charlo fought him, you're gonna say he was washed up? Like, bro, this is the problem with boxing. Like, you guys just shit on people all day, nonstop, for no reason. Stainless counterpunch.
I guess it's still on topic. Yeah, I went back and listened. My man did call us a bunch of idiots because I am one of them dudes who calls my barber out to me. So, I mean, I'll be on his back calls with J Mac. I know J Mac energy sometimes can catch people off guard, but that's just his energy. But that idiots, you got to be careful with your words on here. You know what I'm saying? Because we can go back and listen. And yeah, brother, you did say I don't know what's up with these idiots, but I just ordered a bunch of shit on Amazon. Spent like $100 on Amazon for some home clipper shit. I really don't like to throw the idiot word around, but cutting your own hair, that's kind of silly right there. I mean, unless you doomsday and you just letting your wife cut your hair. I mean, which is really another whole level of yeah.
Trust.
Yo,
you guys,
that's
you
why
guys
I
are just
said,
too, first of all,
as
they're
long
too
as they grow
judgmental.
back, like, if your hair don't grow back or you got trouble growing your hair back and you let your lady or you try to go in on yourself, then you're going to be mad. My shit, look at me, man. I'm Wolfgang out here.
I just think that we all a little bit too sensitive and definitely too judgmental. Like, think about the shit we say about fighters. Is idiot the worst thing you've said about a fighter? Because, like, you know what I mean? Exactly. So, like, to come at a fellow caller, Patreon, I mean, look, both of y'all need to just, but they exchange numbers, so they're going to settle it in the back end, and we done with that. That was the last caller and the last boomerang. Let me double check. I mean, last counterpunch. Let me just double check. But yeah, they'll be talking. They exchange numbers. Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. Film Study Tuesday tonight. Peace.
@MoreMoogie on Twitter, @MoreMoogie on Instagram. Hit me up. I'll see y'all tonight where we will be discussing, or where we will be reviewing Bradley Provodnikov. Peace.
Champ.
All right.
Do my little Hot Wheels. And my name is Alex_Doomsday_LAINEZ on IG. You can catch me on Twitter, AlexLinusTBV. Check us out tonight. Film Study. War. The Russian Rocky versus Tim Bradley.
All right. Peace.